Chapter 26. About halfway through the trip, I direct Ponzu to follow me to a secluded corner where I can talk with her privately. She asks, "So what is this about?" "Well, I'm going to talk to you and explain something important, along with that little favor you agreed to." When I say this, a look of surprise splashes across her face. She says, "What do you want to explain, and why did you need me to agree to a favor when you could obviously just force me into doing anything anyway?" "I didn't force you because it's something you need to agree to. It's part of one of my many abilities, which I'll tell you about and show you, if you accept." "Okay. What exactly do I need to accept?" "Well, my ability is called String of Fate. It allows me to write up a contract, and if you agree to all the terms, I can place a string inside you that enforces the contract. If either party doesn't fulfill or comply with the terms, the consequences outlined in the contract will be enforced. When I place the string in you, I'll also be able to communicate with you mentally, see your memories, and take control of your body." So what's the contract you want me to agree to?" "You must pledge your loyalty to me by joining my mafia family. If you go against me, I'll be alerted. Plus, you'll be mute and paralyzed until I decide what happens to you. In return, I'll teach you about Nen and unlock your aura the fast way, so you don't have to go through the long and boring method." With a confused look on her face, Ponzu asks, "What is this Nen?" "I'll tell you if you agree. All you need to know right now is that it'll make you insanely more versatile and powerful as a combatant." "Okay, then I'll join you." "Wait, what? Why? You do know you're selling your life away and pledging loyalty to me, right?" She nods. "Normally I have to threaten people to agree to this contract." "That's pretty nice," I say. "But why? Why are you joining?" "Well, there's no reason not to join since I obviously have no choice. You're stronger than me, and you could force me into the contract with or without my will. I do know it's selling my life away, but if I don't want to die, I have no other option but to agree. Am I right?" she says with a smug smirk. I place the string into her, and we go about our days as usual. She doesn't seem too off, only a bit frizzled from having her aura nodes unlocked. I guess different people react differently. When we get off the boat and onto shore, Lipo shows us the way up Trick Tower, where we wait for the Hunter Association blimp to return and carry us to the 5th stage of the exams. As we board the blimp, Gramps appears in the main hall and introduces himself with a standard, "Hello everybody, my name is Netero, the chairman of the Hunter Association. If you hear your name called on the speakers, please make your way to the first reception room on the 2nd floor." He then proceeds to leave and calls Isaka first. The order we go in is Isaka, Pakal, Killua, Badro, Iluni/Jutarikar, Gon, Hanzo, Kurapika, Leorio, Ponzu, Nicholas, and finally, me. I walk up to the reception room and open the door. Behind it is the old man sitting at a desk with a paper and ink brush in hand, writing something down. He greets me with a casual yo before asking me to take a seat. I oblige and sit on the other side of the table. As we sit, he looks at me and asks the questions from the original. "Why do you want to become a hunter?" he asks, his eyes glinting seriously. "That's simple, freedom. So I can explore the world," I say, opening my hands to gesture how vast the world is. "Plus, I'll be allowed into most, if not all, restricted areas," I add proudly, smiling. His gaze softens into a smile. "Okay, next question. Is there anyone you're interested in out of the 11 other applicants?" "Yes, I'm interested in Leorio Paladinite, Kurapika, Gon Freaks, Hanzo, Killua Zoldyck, Nicholas, and Ponzu, all for good reasons. I'm not interested in anyone for bad reasons." He murmurs, surprised. "What about numbers 44 and 301? "Meh. I've fought Hisaka, and number 301 isn't really scary, just weird," putting needles in himself like a masochist, I reply with what I think is an uninterested tone. Okay, last question. Which of the current contestants do you least want to fight right now? Oh, I'd probably say Nicholas because it would be the least fun fight. Now, if the questioning is over, I have something to discuss with you. Sure, he replies, raising an intrigued eyebrow. Well, I have an ability called String of Fate that lets me make a contract between myself and another person. I can include anything in the contract, and if the other party agrees, I insert a string into both of us to uphold the terms. I can also set any penalty, as long as it's clearly stated. Okay, and you want to use it on me, why? Gramps asks seriously. I want to make a contract where the terms are that I help you when I can, and you help me when you can. It would be a fair agreement with no penalty for backing out. If I need help, you'd help, and vice versa. Why even make a contract? I'd help you anyway, unless it's something I can't do. Well, another thing about String of Fate is that I can communicate without speaking. Think of it like a telepathic link through the strings. We could talk silently, and you'd also gain protection from manipulators. I set all my strings to automatically purge any foreign nen trying to control someone's body. The only downside is that I could control your body, but I can include in the contract that I won't. So is there a distance limit on the telepathy? He asks, surprised. No, there's no distance limit on the strings or links. It just costs more nen the farther away the connection is, but that's only a problem if I'm nearly dead. He hums, then breaks into a goofy smile. I see no problems with it. I agree. But for an ability this powerful, letting you contract anyone and manipulate them from anywhere, what kind of limitations did you impose to get the aura boost? Actually, there's only one limitation, I say, watching his eyes widen. The other party must agree, and I must disclose the full details of my ability before they agree. Oh, sure. Then I agree to the contract, he says. I stretch a string into his neck, thread it through his veins to his brain, and leave with a simple, thanks. Bye, Gramps. Chapter 27. After 3 days aboard the airship, we finally arrive. As we step out onto the grass, I see a beautifully constructed palace-like structure combining Indo-Islamic, Baroque, and Romanesque architecture. It even resembles the Taj Mahal from my past world. At the center is a circular building with multiple Roman arches and doors. Its roof is a dome topped with a gilded finial. Surrounding it are 4 more building-like structures. 3 plain cement walls run around the site, forming an open space in the front and a courtyard area around the main structure. Each of the 4 buildings has 2 stories and an onion dome made of gold-colored bronze and marble. The entire complex stands on a cement platform about 5 feet above the ground. In front of us, a staircase leads up the platform and into the courtyard. As we follow Mr. Beans and Gramps through it toward the main building, most of us admire the scenery. Inside the main structure, Gramps stops in a large room with a Chinese-inspired color scheme. Pillars made of jade stand vertically, spaced about 15 feet apart. Behind Gramps is a tall brown arched door, probably 10 feet high. After stopping, Gramps explains, the Hunter Exam Selection Committee runs this hotel. This place is all yours until the battles have concluded. A tall man in a black suit rolls in a board hidden under a sheet and presents it to Gramps. For the final phase, we will be holding a one-on-one tournament, Gramps announces, grabbing the sheet and flinging it off to reveal the board showing how the matches will unfold. Pakal and Leorio begin murmuring questions like, wait, is only one contestant going to get a hunter's license? Is it just the one who makes it to the top? The old man finally explains, all you need to get a hunter's license is to win one fight. The winners are removed from the competition, while the losers continue up the bracket. Of you 12, only one will fail. Do you understand now? Here is the bracket. He uncovers the tape and reveals the pictures. The bracket is perplexing, with 2 fights each round where the loser moves on to the next. The first round is Gon versus Hisoka, and Killua versus Hanzo. After about a minute of silent contemplation, the old man speaks again. Impressive, right? After all, everyone has at least 2 chances to win. Badoro asks, why didn't you use a balanced bracket? This bracket was assembled based on your personal performance throughout the entire exam. Simply put, those who performed better have more chances to pass. Killua asks about scores, and the old man replies, scores are classified, but we can tell you how we graded you. First, we considered 3 basics: physical strength, mental acuity, and overall impression. For physical strength, we evaluated agility, flexibility, endurance, and perception. For mental acuity, we considered resistance, adaptability, judgment, and creativity. Finally, for impressions, we used any intangible factors that couldn't be categorized. Consider this an assessment of your potential as a hunter. That was our process. Now, for the rules of the battle. It's quite simple: weapons are allowed, no cheating, and if your opponent admits defeat, you win. However, if you kill your opponent, you will be immediately disqualified, and all remaining applicants will pass. Are we clear? After a moment of silence, one of the men in black tuxedos and dark glasses steps forward and announces, now, may the final phase begin. Gon and Hisoka, please step up to the arena. I give up. Gon yells, just as Hisoka calmly opens his mouth to say the same. Wait, why? Leorio yells at Gon. You haven't fought him before, have you, Leorio? He's a monster. And he's super scary, Gon says quietly. The man in the black tuxedo steps forward and announces, Hisoka is the winner of the first match. May Hanzo and Killua step into the arena. After stretching and preparing, the announcer says, begin, signaling the start of the fight. Killua and Hanzo face off in the center of the arena. The tension is thick in the air. Everyone in our group wonders how it will unfold. Killua moves quickly, his body coiled and ready to strike. He lunges forward, aiming a sharp punch at Hanzo's chest. But Hanzo simply closes his eyes and sidesteps, avoiding the punch effortlessly. Before Killua can react, Hanzo's fist slams into his side. The blow is quick, clean, and powerful. Killua staggers back, wincing from the impact, but he doesn't stop. Gritting his teeth, he charges back in, faster this time, launching a rapid combination of punches and kicks aimed at Hanzo's head, ribs, and legs, trying to overwhelm him with speed. But Hanzo is unfazed. He dodges every move with mild effort, his body moving like water, fluid, calm, and unhurried. He doesn't even seem to be exerting himself. Each of Killua's attacks is either blocked, redirected, or effortlessly avoided, as though Hanzo knows exactly where Killua is going before he even does. We all gasp as Killua feints, then spins to land a kick to Hanzo's ribs. But Hanzo's reflexes are too sharp. In an instant, his leg is out, tripping Killua. Killua stumbles, barely catching himself before he hits the ground. He recovers quickly, but it's clear the fight isn't going his way. The young assassin keeps pressing. He shifts his stance, crouches low, then darts in from a new angle. His body moves like lightning. But Hanzo is already there, slipping past him and landing a solid palm strike directly to Killua's chest. The blow knocks the wind out of him, and he stumbles again. Killua shakes it off, breathing heavily, his eyes calculating. He moves again, faster, throwing a flurry of punches, kicks, and sweeps, trying to confuse Hanzo and catch him off guard. But Hanzo is always in the right spot, even with his eyes closed. Every time Killua strikes, Hanzo is already there to neutralize or evade it. Killua's attacks aren't getting through. Frustration builds in his eyes, but he refuses to back down. He can't afford to, not with the hunter exam on the line. He tries again, faster, more unpredictably. But Hanzo's composure never falters. He's too experienced, too calm, too precise. Chapter 28. Killua's eyes flicker to Hanzo in surprise when he notices Hanzo's eyes are closed, then shift to the ground with discouragement. He takes a slow step back, his shoulders sagging slightly. Sweat drips from his face, but there's a moment of clarity in his eyes. He realizes he can't win. Not this time. He straightens up, his chest still rising and falling from exertion. He looks at Hanzo, who stands there, as relaxed and unreadable as ever. "I give up," Killua says, his voice steady. There's no denying the wisdom in his decision. He's been outmatched ever since I taught Hanzo Nen. The second match is over. Hanzo wins. Can Gon and Lucas come to the arena? Gon murmurs in surprise, and for a moment, a heavy silence falls over the room. Hanzo doesn't say anything but gives a single nod, acknowledging Killua's decision. There's no mocking, no pity, just respect. As Killua walks away from the arena, his eyes are quiet, sad, and calculating. He approaches Gon, and they begin talking quietly. Hanzo looks overjoyed as he starts walking toward me. When he gets close, he whispers excitedly, yet quietly, "I used N that whole time." I could feel his presence and tell what direction he was coming from and where he was going. It was crazy. As soon as he entered a 1-meter radius, I knew exactly what he was going to do, no matter if he faked a move or went faster than I could normally react. "Well, Hanzo, technically you didn't use N. For it to be considered N, it has to be at least 2 meters. But we can work on it. After the exams, we'll have at least a month before we need to get back to anything," I explain matter-of-factly. Once Hanzo stops talking, I walk to the arena and wait for Gon. After he finishes his conversation with Killua, he joins me. "Begin," the announcer says. Right after the word begin, I immediately give up, but Gon doesn't accept it and starts complaining. "No. I hate winning like this. Let's come up with a fair way to decide who wins, so I can win," he says. Everyone chuckles at his childishness. "Sure, Gon. How about rock paper scissors?" I suggest. "Sure. I like rock paper scissors. Best out of 3? He replies happily. "Nice. How about we begin then?" Rock is symbolized by the fist and is often seen as aggressive, so more assertive people usually pick it. Scissors, sharp and dangerous, can represent controlled aggression or cleverness. But paper is passive, peaceful, and friendly, just like Gon. Since he's more similar to paper, he's likely to use it. I'll use the same to test my hypothesis. Rock, paper, scissors. Shoot. Just as expected, we both choose paper, ending in a tie. Gon will most likely pick rock next. In rock paper scissors, if you lose or tie, you're more likely to switch. Since he didn't win with paper, he'll likely try rock. I go against all logic and pick scissors. Rock, paper, scissors. Shoot. I raise my hand, knowing he thinks he's got me beat. Sure enough, Gon grins and throws rock. I let him win, and his confidence grows. When you let someone win, they don't just win the game, they gain momentum. In rock paper scissors, players often repeat the item they won with. Gon's grin stretches year to year. Whoa. If I win one more, I'm going to win. Lucas, you should try harder, it feels unfair. I know he thinks I'm finally going to change my strategy. He'll expect me to go with rock to counter his paper, or scissors to beat his rock. So, I do the most unpredictable thing, I pick paper again. Rock, paper, scissors. Shoot. Gon looks a little uncertain for the first time. You went paper again? He asks. He throws rock. The moment he looks at his hand, his triumphant grin fades to reluctant acceptance. This time, I need to adjust. I want to keep feeding his ego without letting him get too comfortable, or he'll think he's unbeatable. It's a delicate balance. I go back to the psychological angle. Gon's energy is infectious, He's practically bouncing, ready to claim victory. He's sure I'll try to outsmart him now, maybe throw scissors to counter his rock or paper to beat his scissors. He's anticipating my next move. I raise my hand slowly, deliberately, to make him think I'm hesitating. He's convinced he's figured me out. He thinks I'll choose paper as the logical counter, so I throw him off by doing the exact opposite. Rock, paper, scissors. Shoot. I got this one. Gon yells, half of his usual grin returning. I reveal rock. Gon's expression flickers with uncertainty for a split second, then he looks down and sees he threw paper. Paper beats rock. He smiles triumphantly, knowing he won. Ha! Told you I had this one. Gon beams, now having secured 2 out of 3 rounds. There's a glint in his eyes, the satisfaction of a hard-earned win. I've let him feel like he's on top of the world, like nothing can stop him. And that was the plan all along. I let out a small, satisfied smile. He doesn't realize it, but I've already won in my own way. Well, since you won 2 rounds, I guess I lost, I say lightly. Hey, announcer, I give up. Gon wins. As we return to our seats, the announcer finally announces, the 3rd match is over. Gon wins. May Killua and Ponzu step into the arena. Chapter 29. I watch as Ponzu and Killua make their way to the ring. Right as the announcer says, begin. Killua opens his mouth and explains that he has absolutely no interest whatsoever in fighting Ponzu, so he gives up. The 4th round is over. Ponzu wins. Can Lucas and Badoro come to the arena? The announcer states. As we both walk up to the arena, Badoro bows to me in a show of respect. I bow back in gratitude for his gesture. Let's have a fair fight. No tricks, I say, a big smile spreading across my face. Normally, Badoro wouldn't fight someone my age, but I'm guessing he doesn't know how old I am. Judging by my muscular build and height, he's probably assumed I'm around 18. In this world, normal 14-year-olds aren't 5 feet 11 inches. When we hear the announcer yell begin, the fight starts. We stare each other down, circling in our respective fighting stances. His stance is intriguing, he balances all his weight on one leg, the other raised and ready to strike with a kick. One arm is extended in front of him, the other behind, ready to strike with a punch. He's perfectly balanced, ready to launch at any moment. But I wait for him to make the first move. He throws the first punch, a quick jab aimed at my face. It's fast and powerful, his eyes gleaming with focus. But I don't flinch. I simply lean back just enough to let the punch miss by inches, the wind from his fist brushing past my cheek. Badoro's eyes narrow. Without missing a beat, he throws another punch, a left hook aimed at my side. I sidestep effortlessly, my feet light as air, and his fist sails harmlessly into empty space. He doesn't stop. His style is relentless, more aggressive than refined, throwing jab after jab, hook after hook, all with the precision of a seasoned fighter. But they're just patterns. I can see every move before it happens. I've already calculated them. With each strike, I move a step to the side or slip beneath it, never breaking a sweat. My body flows like part of the environment, a fluid extension of the space around me. His frustration builds. I stay calm and steady. He's starting to realize that none of his punches are landing. He's just wasting energy. Sweat begins to bead on his forehead, and his movements start to tire. The fight is slipping out of his hands, but he won't quit. His pride won't let him. Badoro switches tactics. His attacks become more varied, quick jabs followed by a low kick aimed at my legs. It's more unpredictable, but still not enough. I hop back lightly to avoid the kick, then slide to the left to dodge his next punch. I feel the tension thick in the air, the frustration in his movements. I'm toying with him now, letting him think he has a chance. Letting him believe there's still an opening. He growls under his breath, eyes blazing with determination. The aggression builds. His body starts to strain. His breath comes in sharp, uneven bursts, and I see him slowing down. Still, he pushes forward. I let him keep attacking. Subtle signs of fatigue are setting in, his movements are less sharp, his attacks more telegraphed, his footwork less precise. He's slowing down. I remain just out of reach. Every time he lunges, I sidestep, slip, or duck, like water flowing around a rock. He's so focused on hitting me, he doesn't see the pattern repeating. I'm in control, and it's not even close. I could end it now, but I don't. I want to see how long it takes for him to realize the truth. Badoro launches a heavy right cross, probably hoping to break through with brute force. I lean to the left, his punch sailing past. This time, I counter, grabbing the back of his robe and using his own momentum to throw him across the ring. He flips midair and lands almost perfectly, but still stumbles forward, off balance. His frustration is written all over him. His body language screams that he's running on fumes. There's no finesse left, just desperation. He charges again, faster this time, but I'm already moving, precise and effortless. His wild swings miss, and I can feel the moment nearing. I'm still not sweating. My body remains relaxed and controlled. This has been more a game than a battle. But I want to see how far he'll push himself before he admits what I already know, he can't win. Badoro makes a final, desperate attempt, a vicious low kick followed by an uppercut. I step back, the kick missing completely. The uppercut cuts through the air just inches from me. And in that split second, I see the opening. His stance is wide, his balance off. I could strike and end it instantly. But I don't. Instead, I let him stagger, exhausted, trying to regain his footing. Then I see it in his eyes, realization. His shoulders sag slightly. His gaze flickers away for a moment. That's the sign I've been waiting for. His body is spent. His mind is cracking under the weight of it. He knows it's over. His breathing is ragged. His chest heaves. The proud posture he once held is crumpled. His face pale. He's a fighter at the end of his rope. And he knows it. I know it. Finally, after what feels like an eternity, he raises his hands in surrender. His voice is low, defeated. I surrender. You win. I take a slow, deliberate step back, watching him a moment longer. I wait to see if he'll collapse, fall to his knees, but he doesn't. He stands there, drained, eyes locking with mine in quiet acknowledgement. The announcer declares, the fifth match is over. Lucas wins. Can Killua and Jatarakar come to the arena? Everyone is silent. I can feel their eyes on me, but my focus is on Badoro. I step back and give him a respectful nod for his effort. Then, I turn away. I hear the faint sound of his ragged breathing behind me, but I don't look back. Chapter 30. As Killua and Jatarakar walk up to the arena, the air grows tense. The silence shatters once the announcer says, "Begin." Jatarakar speaks in a strange voice, "It's been a while, Kill," before he begins pulling the needles from his head and neck. With each needle removed, his face shifts and contorts, his hair flailing out, lengthening, and turning black, while his skin fades from purple to pale white. As his face transforms, Killua's expression twists in shock. He quietly says, "Big brother." Even though Killua said it softly, in the silent room it might as well have been an explosion. Everyone hears it. Those of us close to him, like Leorio and Kurapika, start murmuring immediately. The silence stretches a moment longer until Aluni speaks in a cold, hollow voice, "I heard you stabbed Mom and Maluki." Killua replies quietly, "I guess. Mom was crying." Leorio interrupts, "Anyone would cry if their son did that to them," he says matter-of-factly, only to exaggeratedly fall backward when Aluni finishes the sentence. Tears of joy. She was so happy to see you'd grown up. But she was worried about you leaving home, so she asked me to check up on you. He continues, what a coincidence, huh? I didn't know you wanted to be a hunter. I'm just trying to get a license for my next job. Killua looks down, dejected. I don't really want to be a hunter. I just felt like taking the exams. That's a relief, Illumi replies. I have some advice for you. You are not cut out to be a hunter. You were born to be a kill. Before he can finish, Gon cuts him off, yelling, no, he isn't. Killua, you said yourself you don't want to go back to your family, and you don't want to be an assassin anymore. If Illumi's words had been like gunshots in the deadly quiet room, Gon's voice was a cannon blast, crashing through the silence and drawing Illumi's full attention. The moment Illumi looks at Gon, everyone around him feels it, his ren surges with overwhelming intensity. It's cold, suffocating, and devoid of life. Illumi's aura is so dense that no one but me, and possibly Hanzo, can move. I've never used ren directly on Hanzo, so I'm not sure he can resist it. Regardless, I envelop everyone around me in my own ren, counteracting Illumi's influence on everyone, except Gon. This is going to be a life lesson for Gon. The feeling of Illumi's ren will terrify him, and since it's his actions that provoked it, I won't interfere unless Illumi makes a move toward him or increases the aura to a lethal level. Illumi's ren leaves Gon frozen in fear as he resumes speaking to Killua. You're a puppet of darkness, without passion. You don't want anything. You don't wish for anything. As one who lives in the shadows, you can only feel pleasure when people die. That's how Dad and I raised you. What could you possibly accomplish as a hunter? Killua responds calmly. Indeed, I don't want to become a hunter. But even I have something I want. Illumi's voice softens. Well, what is it that you want, Kill? I want to become friends with Gon. I'm sick of killing people. I just want to be friends with Gon and play like normal kids. After Killua's outburst, Illumi walks up to him and whispers something in his ear. No one but me, possibly the examiners, the old man, and Hisoka, can hear what he says. Even in the dead silence of the room, the words are inaudible without enhanced nen hearing. What Illumi says is, give up, Kill. You can't beat me. If you don't give up and return home, I'll kill Gon. He's already passed, so it won't be against the rules. If you don't want that to happen, go home. Now. Right after the whisper, Illumi's malicious ren dissipates completely, and Killua says, I give up. Before turning and walking toward the exit. The sixth match is over. Jataraker, or whatever your name is, wins. Can Badoro and Nicholas come to the arena? The announcer calls. As the malicious ren disappears, Gon rushes to Killua and starts asking a flurry of questions about where he's going and about his brother. Killua only tells him, I need some air, before heading out and slamming the door behind him. Using N, I can feel Killua running at top speed, northeast, in the direction of the Dentora region of the Republic of Padokia. More specifically, he's headed toward Kukuru Mountain. After Killua leaves, Illumi walks up to Gramps and says, Mr. Chairman, the exams should be over. Killua won't be coming back. Gon speaks up indignantly, what do you mean? Of course Killua is coming, bah. Before he can finish, Gramps interrupts. Young Killua has left and therefore forfeits all remaining matches. As a result, he will be the only applicant who fails this phase of the exam. All other remaining applicants, even those who have not yet fought, pass. The moment the old man finishes speaking, Gon charges at Illumi, yelling, What did you do to Killua? Mid-jump, I appear beside him and knock him unconscious with a swift chop to the neck. As he falls, I catch his body and return to our spot. Mr. Beans approaches and hands a folder to each of us who passed. Then he says, Follow me, and leads us along with the other examiners and the chairman. We walk through the door into the courtyard and then into a narrow hallway. On one side is an open room with hospital beds. On the other side is a tall closed door. We follow Mr. Beans and the examiners through the tall door and into a large room. Inside, it resembles a courtroom or college lecture hall, with pews arranged to face a stage. We all take a seat as the chairman walks to the front. "Let's begin the orientation," he says, nodding to Mr. Beans. Mr. Beans steps forward and begins, "All right then, I shall start the orientation. The folders I gave you contain cards. These cards are hunter licenses. This card allows you to enter 90% of countries that restrict immigration, as well as 75% of the world's restricted areas. You may use 90% of public facilities at no cost, and banks will treat you as a top-rated company. If sold, it would fetch enough to live 7 lifetimes in luxury. If kept, it guarantees material comfort for the rest of your life. So take great care, if it is lost or stolen, it will not be replaced. According to our estimates, 1 in 5 hunters lose their license within a year. Your first challenge as a hunter is to protect your card. The rest is up to you. Rise above your challenges, believe in your strength, and pursue your dreams." After the speech, the chairman steps forward again. "Well then, we now declare the 11 members present to be new licensed hunters." Chapter 31. I glance over at Gon, who's just woken up and is now standing with Leorio and Kurapika, still processing everything that's happened. His expression is distant, lost in thoughts of Killua. Still, I feel the pull of his gaze. "I'm heading south," I say suddenly, breaking the silence in my mind. The words come out steady, but they carry more weight than I expected. "Gon, I'm going south. I have business in a certain city down there." Gon blinks, clearly confused. "South? But what do you mean?" I take a breath and meet his eyes. I can't explain the full story, not now. I know Gon is curious, but this isn't something I can put into words just yet. I want to see the world, Gon. There's so much I haven't experienced. That's why I'm here, to explore. I watch as understanding begins to dawn on him, though hesitation lingers in his eyes. It's not the kind of journey he can fully grasp yet, and that's fine. My reasons are mine. Maybe one day he'll understand. He smiles, though there's something deeper behind it. "I hope you find what you're looking for, Lucas." I nod. "I will. And Gon, don't forget to punch Killua for me, okay? You've got a lot to offer. Just don't lose sight of what matters to you." Leorio steps forward next, clapping me on the back with his usual boisterous grin, though there's a quietness beneath it. "Don't do anything too crazy out there. I'm sure we'll see each other again. Take care of yourself, man." I smile, small, but genuine. I'll try not to do anything crazy. But no promises. Kurapika, always the serious one, doesn't say much, but his eyes convey everything. "Be safe, Lucas. I know we'll meet again." His words linger with me. I don't reply, but I know he's right. "I will," I say quietly, my resolve solidifying. "See you soon." For a moment, there's a strange stillness. No one speaks, yet everything is said. We've been through so much together, but now our paths diverge. Still, there's something comforting in knowing we'll carry this bond with us, wherever we go. Oh, also, I'm taking Ponzu, Hanzo, and Nicholas with me. They're already on their way. I told them I'd catch up, so I'm saying goodbye for them too. See ya. I turn to leave, my steps slow at first, then more confident. The door looms ahead, and as I reach for the handle, I glance back one last time. I see Gon, Leorio, and Kurapika, each on their own path now. I wonder where they'll go, what their next steps will be. But I know that, for now, our journeys are separate. With a deep breath, I push the door open and step into the hallway, the sound of it closing softly behind me. The air outside feels different, colder, more open, as if the world is waiting. My hunter license is still in my hand, a reminder of everything I've done to get here. And everything I still have to do. I'm not sure where the road will lead, but I know I'll find my way. The world is vast, full of things I can't even imagine, exciting, dangerous. But for now, I just need to catch up with the group. I create a log pose from a thread extending from my finger. It's modeled like a log pose from One Piece, but functions more like Google Maps from my old world. I can choose one person with my string inside them, and it tells me the direction and exact distance to them. There are only two downsides. I have to be actively using N for it to record, and it doesn't update automatically. So if I log a building today and it's destroyed tomorrow, it'll still appear on the map until I relog it. Even with those restrictions, it's a powerful ability. I'm surprised it works with so few limitations. They're currently about 20 miles away, not too far for me to catch up quickly. I could be there in about 6 minutes, though since they're not moving very fast, it might take a few seconds longer. I press the thread of energy and focus on the log pose. The glowing line points toward the direction I need to go. The map shifts slightly, confirming their route. It's reassuring to know they're heading the right way, even without me. I take another breath and start running, cold air swirling around me. I adjust the strap of my bag across my shoulder. It feels oddly comforting. The soft weight is a reminder of what I've gathered along the way, my hunter license, the folder it came in, and, well, not much else yet. But I'll collect more in time. The journey south takes me first through a cold, dark forest, then a small city. People rush past, absorbed in their lives, oblivious to the faint shift in air as I pass. I move with purpose, scanning my surroundings as I make my way to the city's edge, where the roads grow quiet again and the world feels more open, as if inviting me forward. About 5 minutes later, the log pose signals that I'm close. I push myself harder, picking up speed, the pull of the thread guiding me. It's strange, this sensation of being drawn toward something without fully knowing what lies ahead, but it feels right. It feels like the path I'm meant to walk. Soon, the city thins out and the landscape opens around me. The air is cooler here, the terrain more rugged. A few miles ahead, I spot the group, their silhouettes recognizable even at this distance. Ponzu, Hanzo, and Nicholas walk up front, while the old man lags behind, pretending to be tired. Relief washes over me. I'm close now. I slow my pace as I approach. Only Gramps notices me, but he probably sensed me long before this, while the others are lost in thought, walking at a steady pace. "Hey!" I call, grinning. My voice echoes slightly in the open space. At first, they don't react. Then Hanzo looks back, his face lighting up. "Lucas!" he calls, confusion turning into a grin as he waves. Nicholas turns next, offering a small smile. "Well, you finally made it," he says, chuckling as he walks toward me with the easy energy he reserves for friends. "I was wondering when you'd show up." Ponzu gives me a nod, subtle, prepared, but still friendly. There's a flicker of relief in her eyes. It's good to see them again, familiar faces, people who won't judge me for the path I've chosen. "Good to see you all," I say, catching my breath, a smile tugging at my lips. I feel lighter now that I've caught up. My mind is already looking ahead, to Meteor City. We still have a long way to go. But it's good to know I'm not walking it alone. "So, what's the plan now?" Ponzu asks in her usual monotone. I shrug. "We head to Meteor City, like I said. We've got things to take care of. Besides, it's always an interesting place. You can't pass through without noticing something strange." "I've heard things," Nicholas says, rubbing the back of his neck. "Most people don't even know if it really exists. But it's real. I found news articles, crazy stuff that happened there. Some even say the Phantom Troop is from that place." We start walking again as Nicholas talks about the rumors, the five of us falling into a familiar rhythm. Chapter 32. The morning sun rises over the horizon, casting long shadows through the trees. Our group continues trekking through the rugged landscape. The air is still cold, but it's beginning to warm as the day unfolds. Every step feels like 1 inch closer to Meteor City, yet there's a nagging feeling in the back of my mind, something about this journey doesn't feel quite right. I glance over at Panzu, Hanzo, and Nicholas. Their faces are set with determination. We've made good progress, about 70 miles through the night, but the terrain is starting to wear down Nicholas. "All right, I've got an idea," I say, drawing their attention. They stop and turn toward me, confusion flickering in their eyes. "Time to make things easier," I add with a smirk, holding my hand out in front of me. I concentrate, channeling my nen into the forest floor, drawing energy from the shadows beneath my feet. Slowly, a platform begins to form, a solid mass of shadow, flickering like a mirage. "It's a shadow platform," I explain as it grows large enough to hold all five of us. "It moves on its own if I focus on it. It'll carry us the rest of the way. We'll conserve energy and avoid further delays. It's not permanent, but it'll get us to Meteor City way faster than walking." Panzu tilts her head, watching with interest. "Whoa," she says, clearly intrigued. "But can it handle the rough terrain?" I grin, stepping onto the platform. "Let's find out." The moment my foot touches the surface, it hums to life. The shadows beneath solidify and stretch outward. With a gentle push of my hand, it glides forward, sailing over rocks and uneven ground like it was made for this journey. Oh wait, it is. I can feel its weight beneath me, but it moves effortlessly, controlled entirely by my concentration and willpower. "Nice," Hanzo says, impressed. "This should save us a lot of time." "I can't believe it's working so well," Nicholas mutters as he steps on, clearly amazed. "This is going to make things so much easier." I nod, keeping the platform steady as we move. Gramps steps on last, and soon we're gliding through the forest at a much faster pace. "You kids can rest, but not for long," Netero calls out. "This journey's far from over. And if you want to survive Meteor City, the three of you need serious training." I turn around and meet Gramps' gaze. His eyes are sharp, filled with that terrifying focus I've come to know. After some much-needed rest and sleep, we rise early. The first thing we do is create a training schedule. At this pace, we'll reach Meteor City in 2 days. We argue for a few minutes to balance the schedule. Eventually, we agree that I'll train Hanzo, Nicholas, and Panzu for the first 10 hours. I'll take them aside for individual sessions when needed. Gramps can intervene if he thinks I'm teaching something wrong or if he has a better approach. The final 6 hours will be personal, intense training with Gramps, only for me. The others aren't physically or mentally ready for that level yet. So, in total, they get 10 hours of foundational training, and I get 6 hours of hell. We also make sure there's time for proper rest, 6 hours for light conversation and socializing, plus a solid 8 hours of sleep. I step forward and take charge. "All right," I begin, my voice firm but calm. "We start with the basics. Today, we learn Nen." They all nod, but I can see the uncertainty. Hanzo remains sharp and silent, serious as always. Panzu looks eager but tries to mask it. Nicholas. He looks completely lost. I can already tell he's going to need extra time. "Nen," I say, raising my hand and focusing my energy. "This is the key to everything. If you don't understand Nen, you won't survive." I demonstrate, letting my aura expand in a visible wave. Their eyes follow every movement, but they're not quite there yet. Nicholas tries to mimic me, his aura flickering, unstable. Panzu is smoother but unsure. Hanzo. Well, Hanzo's doing fine. He already learned this, so he better be. I walk over to Nicholas and rest a hand on his shoulder. Close your eyes. Feel your own energy. Don't force it, just let it come to you. He nods, but he's still struggling. I need to be patient. Gramps watches me closely, eyes locked on every movement. He's waiting for me to slip up. While they continue working on the basics, I move to the next technique. Now we'll practice Zetsu, I explain. It's about closing off your aura and conserving energy. You need to know when to let your power flow, and when to rest. If you hold your aura constantly, you'll burn out fast. I demonstrate, shifting from Ten to Zetsu, drawing my aura inward without losing control. Ponzu catches on quicker than Nicholas, her movements fluid but still cautious. Hanzo transitions flawlessly, then begins training in to mask his presence. Nicholas is still not getting it. His aura pool isn't large, so it shouldn't be this difficult. Nicholas, I say, approaching him again. You're rushing. Slow down. Feel the energy, then draw it in, gently. He nods, still looking exhausted. I move between them, giving small corrections. Gramps stays silent, watching everything. By noon, I call for a break. Everyone, take 5. Eat, drink, rest. We gather in a circle and pull out food. Nicholas wipes sweat from his brow. Ponzu is composed, quietly eating and observing. Hanzo hasn't spoken since morning, but I can tell he's deep in thought. Gramps stands off to the side, gazing at the horizon. After lunch, it's time for specific training. I start with Nicholas. He's calm, but his technique is off, his nen too rigid. You're over-controlling it, I tell him. Loosen up. Let the energy flow naturally. I spend a few hours helping him relax and guide his aura more freely. He starts improving faster than expected. Next is Ponzu. She's more refined than Nicholas but still holds herself back. Her nen lacks precision. Think of it like aiming a weapon, I say. You need focus. Pick a target, and guide your aura to it. She nods and practices. She's doing well, though still a bit unsure. Once their sessions end, it's my turn. You've got a long way to go, Gramps says with a grin that sends a chill down my spine. Let's see if you've got what it takes to fight me. The next few hours are pure hell. Gramps pushes me to maintain Ken while withstanding blows from his statue. Sweat pours from me as I struggle to stay focused. My muscles scream. My mind reels. Come on, you've got to have more than an hour of Ken in you, he mutters, barely winded. I'm not even hitting you that hard. After that torture, we move to physical conditioning, drills that force me to blend Nen with my body. It's brutal. But with every passing minute, I feel myself growing stronger. Hey hunters. Quick break. Hope you're enjoying the fanfic. Now. Did you know, HXH was almost a sci-fi space adventure? The very early concept was about treasure hunters in space. The Hunter license system survived the shift. Now let's keep going with the fanfic. Chapter 33. We finally reach the outskirts of Meteor City, and I can't help but feel a mix of relief and unease. The journey here was long and exhausting, but we made it. The shadow platform I created helped us cover a lot of ground quickly, sparing us from days of walking. We've traveled over 2,000 miles, and now we stand at the edge of this desolate city. The atmosphere is heavy with tension, and even though we've arrived, I feel like the real challenge is only just beginning. The moment we step off the platform, I dismiss it with a flick of my hand. We take a few seconds to survey the area, old, crumbling buildings and an eerie emptiness that stretches for miles. Ponzu, Hanzo, and Nicholas exchange uneasy glances. I don't blame them. Meteor City feels alive with danger, like it's just waiting for us to slip up. I guide them toward a particularly ugly house that looks like it might crumble if someone so much as opens the door. Everyone except me and Gramps looks visibly unsettled. I walk in first, leading the way through the darkness. After a few moments, I stop suddenly, causing Nicholas to bump into me. I crouch and begin lifting loose floorboards, one by one, revealing a trapdoor beneath us. As I open it, light floods the room, nearly blinding us after spending time in the dark. The trapdoor leads to a ladder, and by down, I mean far down. 100 feet beneath Meteor City is my base. I bought the house above and carved this space out using my shadows. A shadow drill helped me dig deep underground, and from there, I created an entire tunnel system beneath the city. Most of my money went into materials for comfort and lighting. We climb for about a minute before reaching the base. The looks on their faces are priceless, they clearly weren't expecting what they see. Wait, what? Why is it so small? Hanzo yells, looking completely baffled. Well, I kind of made this whole place with shadows, but I didn't have enough money to cover all the walls in metal. So, I had to make it smaller than I originally planned. Most of the budget went into lighting and reinforcing the tunnels, I say, scratching the back of my head. But where's the rest of the family? I pull out a string pose and check their locations. The men are hundreds of miles away, busy with their assignments. Most of the women are still in another room. Okay, follow me. The fighters aren't here right now, but the women are, so there's still someone for you to meet. We'll stay here and train for the next 5 days. I lead the group through a narrow, dimly lit corridor winding beneath the city. We pass rooms and makeshift chambers, all reinforced with metal. The walls feel a bit too close for comfort, and the flickering lights offer little comfort from the weight of the city above. Eventually, we reach a large, open room where a group of women is gathered. Some sit on mats, others lean against the walls, chatting over papers scattered across the floor. As they turn to face us, there's a mix of familiarity and curiosity in their expressions. They clearly recognize me, I'm the one who recruited them. Soon, I plan to place them under Nicholas to lead our intelligence and negotiation division. One woman stands, brushing long, dark hair from her face, and greets me with a tired but warm smile. "You're back early," she says with a raised eyebrow. "I thought you'd be a day or two behind schedule." "Plans changed," I reply with a shrug. "I need everyone sharp. We've got 5 days before I leave again." "The others will be here soon," she replies, her tone growing serious. I nod. "Good. I'll need everyone in top form. How many families have we taken over while I was gone?" "In total, 2 families. Both were small. We recruited 10 members who chose to join rather than die." "Good. That's enough for now. Once our next meeting gathers, call me. I'm going to train the new recruits. Speaking of them, have you met them yet?" "No, not yet. But if we've got 5 days, there's time. Go enjoy torturing them like you did to us in our training," she adds with a smirk. The other women begin to gather as Ponzu, Hanzo, and Nicholas cautiously enter. They're clearly out of their element. The oppressive air of Meteor City and the hardened atmosphere of this base press down on them. I motion for them to sit and glance around. It's not much, but it's what we've got. The fighters will return soon. Once they do, we'll work on combat training with people closer to your level. But first, you need to get to their level. I turn to Nicholas. That goes less for you. Your role is intelligence and planning. Still, you need to understand the basics of Nen. As I begin preparing the room for the first session, I reflect on how everything's led to this moment. Meteor City might be desolate, but there's a strange finality to it, like this is where things are meant to begin. The people around me are capable of becoming something more, of forming real ties with the locals. But there's no time to ease in. In 5 days, they'll either be ready, or crushed by what's coming. "All right," I say, clapping my hands. "Let's get started. I'll explain the roles you're training for, and then we begin." The room goes quiet. All eyes are on me. "We don't have a lot of time," I begin. "But we're not just here to train. You'll learn everything, from physical combat to mental warfare. No matter your current strength, you'll be pushed harder than ever before, mentally and physically. Ponzu shifts uneasily, but I see the resolve in her eyes. Hanzo straightens, his posture sharpening. Nicholas looks more focused than earlier, more determined. I let the silence stretch a moment longer. There are no shortcuts. Everyone gives everything they've got. Understood? The room is still for a beat. Then, one by one, they nod. A shared understanding. A shared goal. I turn to Gramps, who's been quietly observing from the corner. I plan to discuss strategy with him and likely involve him in training across every area. Good. Now, let's begin. Chapter 34. Okay, I'm going to start with you, Nicholas, I say confidently, my gaze steady as I assess him. The job I want you to take on is mainly intelligence gathering, but you'll also need to master negotiation, recruitment, finance, and organizational logistics. You'll be our business guy, the one who knows everyone and keeps our relationships strong. Today, though, we're focusing on your friendly voice and persuasive skills. Nicholas nods, a bit nervous but eager. He's in his element when it comes to intel, but this is clearly outside his comfort zone. Still, he's focused, and I respect that. For your role, you'll be working closely with the women in the back, I add, motioning toward the group overseeing operations. They handle those jobs now, but eventually, you'll take over some of their responsibilities. For now, I want you to practice your friendly tone. Convince this clone to join our cause. Understand? Yes, sir, Nicholas replies, voice tinged with uncertainty. He stands at attention and salutes, though I catch a small quiver in his hand. I form 3 phantoms, one morphs into the shape of a man I saw earlier on the street. The other 2 remain passive observers, silent and still. Now you, Ponzu. I want you to become our strategist and military commander. Your trap knowledge and your neurotoxin bees give you great battlefield control. Strategically placing units and traps is vital. Your bees can also deliver messages mid-combat, coordinating movements across the field. For your training, one of my clones will teach you through strategic games, shogi, gunji, chess, go, and risk. Your training will be the most mentally demanding. Got it, Ponzu replies. She heads to a corner, followed by 2 clones, one transforming into a shogi board, the other taking the seat across from her. Lastly, you, Hanzo. I want you to become the leader of our Shadow Syndicate, a group of elite fighters who'll handle the hardest and most secretive tasks. But before I officially form the group, we'll need at least 7 more highly skilled recruits. For now, most of your training will be combat-based with the old man. Oh, and Gramps, if you need more space for Hanzo, I can create an artificial room out of shadows. Nah, we're good. We're not sparring today, so this space is fine, Gramps replies. I walk over to Nicholas. Over the next few days, I need to focus on him. He won't be joining us at Heaven's Arena. Meteor City marks the end of his journey with me. So, how's it going, Nicholas? Pretty good, boss. I think I'm getting the hang of it. I've been asking simple questions and gauging the clone's reactions to figure out my next move. Okay, let's dive into it. Show me what you've got. He straightens up, then says hesitantly, so, what brings you to this part of town? The phantom remains neutral but subtly shifts posture, a slight reaction to Nicholas's tone. I was just passing through, it replies, flatly, testing his sincerity. All right, Nicholas, there are 2 immediate issues, I say. First, your pitch. Your voice is way up here, I raise my hand high. When it should be down here. I lower my hand to waist level. Engage your diaphragm through deep breathing, speak slower, and use chest resonance to access a deeper tone. Second, your pace. You're speaking too fast and sound nervous. Slow, Clear speech is more persuasive. Think of what you want to say like a script. Visualize it and speak it with fluency. Nicholas nods, taking a deep breath. Okay, I say, folding my arms. Let's break it down step by step. Start with your breath. Deep breath in through the nose. And out through the mouth. Again, breathe in. And out. He follows, mimicking the rise and fall of my chest. Now focus your voice just below your ribs, use your diaphragm. That sensation where your stomach tightens when you speak. That's where your power comes from. Don't speak from your throat. He's still a bit rigid, but his breathing improves. When he speaks again, it's still thin and uncertain. Alright, try again. Slow down, speak clearly, and leave space between your words. You're not in a rush. You're here to command attention. He nods again, a flicker of understanding in his eyes. He takes a deeper breath, sets his shoulders back, and tries again. So, what brings you to this part of town? The tone is noticeably better, slower, deeper, more controlled, but still a bit shaky. Better, I nod. Now, let's talk body language. You're still too stiff. It looks like you're trying too hard. Relax your posture, be present. When you speak, lean in slightly. Use your body to support your words. Command presence, but be approachable. He adjusts. His shoulders drop slightly, and he softens his stance. Now try again. Stay relaxed. Imagine you're confident, easygoing, someone with nothing to hide. Nicholas shifts again, takes a breath, and says, more steadily this time. So, what brings you to this part of town? Now there's warmth in his voice, subtle authority, and his body language invites a response. A major improvement. That's more like it, I say, stepping back. You're getting there. Keep working on breath control, pacing, and body language. Your presence has to match your tone. And remember, when in doubt, slow down. Nicholas nods, more relaxed now. Thanks. I think I get it. Good, I say. Now let's move to negotiation. Being persuasive is one thing. Negotiating, especially under pressure, is something else entirely. His attention sharpens. What exactly do you mean by negotiation? I walk over to a nearby table and pull out a folder. Negotiation means reading people, offering value, and understanding when to push and when to hold back. It's not just about agreement, it's about mutual gain. For example, if you want someone to join us, you can't just say join and expect it to work. Unless you're strong enough to threaten them, you need to show them how it benefits them, even subtly. Nicholas nods. So, it's like selling something? Exactly, I say. And like any sale, it's about leverage. What do they want? What are they willing to risk? Your job is to find the overlap between their needs and ours. I step closer. Let's run a mock negotiation. I'm a skeptical client. Convince me. Nicholas takes a breath. All right, let's do it. I cross my arms, skeptical. Why should we join you? Well, what are you looking for? What are you trying to achieve? He asks. I pause. Stability. Respect. I'm tired of my family being overlooked. Nicholas nods. We offer more than stability. We offer growth, respect, and power. You'll be recognized, not just by allies, but by enemies. Contribute, and you'll be rewarded. Join us, and you'll earn a name feared throughout the underworld. I raise a brow. Why should I trust you? We want loyalty. We need people ready to move things forward. In return, you'll get chances you won't find elsewhere. You'll be part of something long-term. That's where real respect comes from. I let it hang. Then, all right, I'm listening. But there better be more. Nicholas stands taller. We'll give you tools and support to be seen. You'll build your legacy. And most of all, you'll be part of something bigger. Not just working for money, but building power. Real power. I nod, impressed. Now you're talking to my values, not just pitching. But I still need to know I matter. Nicholas leans forward, voice lower, more personal. You won't be a cog. You'll shape the operation. Lead. Succeed your way. We'll give you the autonomy to do that. I pause, then nod slowly. All right, we'll join. But if it doesn't go how you said, don't expect loyalty. Nicholas smiles faintly. Understood. We'll deliver. I step back, genuinely impressed. Not bad. You've got the foundation. You just need to tailor your tone depending on who you're talking to. Some need softness. Others, strength. Keep practicing. He nods. Got it. I'll keep working. But what happens if someone like that turns out to be untrustworthy? Then we kill the leader and recruit the rest. That's exactly what we've been doing. Our fighters are embedded in other families as protection. We are close to taking over 4 more. Nicholas looks a bit pale. All right, I say, patting his shoulder. Let's take a break. Chapter 35. Okay, Nicholas, you have a basic understanding of Nen at the moment, but that's all you need for your next task, I say, walking up to one of the shiny metal walls. You're going to create a Hatsu. I know you're wondering what a Hatsu is, as the only one I've discussed this with so far is Hanzo. Hatsu is the expression of your power, your personal, unique ability made manifest through the usage of already established principles of Nen. Hatsu is used to project one's aura to carry out a certain function, creating a special and unique ability. These abilities are colloquially referred to as Nen abilities that one can use to do just about anything. When you create that ability, you are not just limited to said ability alone. Any experienced Nen user will have a Hatsu, and some very skilled users can have more than one ability. As an example, I can use shadow puppetry and string of fate, plus a few more, but that's not important. The only problem with creating complex abilities is aura quantity, memory space, and Nen affinities. What are affinities? He asks in a very confused tone. Well, Nen affinity refers to a person's natural inclination towards a specific type of aura manipulation, which determines how you can best utilize your aura, with 6 primary categories. The categories are as follows: enhancement, emission, transmutation, conjuration, manipulation, and specialization, each with unique strengths and limitations depending on the individual's affinity. The best way of finding your Nen affinity is the water divination test, which you're about to go through. As soon as I say this, one of the women comes in with a full glass of water that has a leaf set on top of it. Now, Nicholas, come here. All you need to do is put both hands on each side of the glass, holding it, and inject your aura into it. The water and leaf will have a reaction that tells your affinity. Nicholas puts his hands on the glass, and when he surges his aura into it, naturally, the water begins to get white particles on the edges. Stop, I say excitedly. I had hoped for this. I even made both Hatsu I've prepared based around conjuration because it's what Nicholas would get on the Hisaka personality test. You're a conjurer. Conjurers specialize in the ability to create or materialize objects out of their aura, essentially acting like a magician by bringing things into existence that weren't there before. This includes creating weapons, tools, or even living creatures, depending on the Nen development and technique. Why are you so happy, Lucas? He asks in a surprised tone. Well, Nicholas, the abilities I made for you are centered around the conjurer affinity, as I figured you would be a conjurer from the way you act. At this, Nicholas's surprise grows even greater, gaining a shocked expression. Okay, so you said abilities. Does that mean you think I'm already skilled enough to learn more than one Hatsu? No, I have 2 Hatsu I want you to learn, but they're relatively simple, going off just the basic 4 Nen principles, so even an amateur should be able to use them. The first ability I want you to learn will be called Thought Stream. It will, in the most basic terms, allow you to access information you want with only your thoughts. It will use Zetsu, Gyo, Ren, and Hatsu as the principles behind it. First, you'll use Gyo and some Zetsu to enter a hyper-focused state of mind, focusing all your aura on your brain, increasing your mental energy and amplifying your ability to scan or search vast amounts of information. Lastly, you'll release your Nen in a focused burst. This could form a sort of mental stream or link that allows you to access a chosen information source, whether it's your own memories or even the internet. The last thing we need to talk about is restrictions. For such a complex and useful ability to work with little aura and only basic Nen principles, you'll need to add some serious restriction power. To this, Nicholas starts to look very confused, not understanding why he would need to restrict his ability. Why would I restrict my own ability? Isn't it perfect the way it is? Using restrictions, Nen users can also invoke a vow and limitation by consciously imposing a restriction upon themselves, known as a limitation, that forces more conditions on the Nen ability. By abiding by this restriction through forming a vow to follow it, the ability becomes stronger. In short, yes, it is a perfect Nen ability for you right now, but the aura cost of doing something so complex just by combining a few simple principles and some aura would be vast, probably more aura than you currently have for just one use. Why would adding a restriction to my ability make it more powerful? He asks, even more confused now. Well, Nen is an expression of willpower. Self-imposed restrictions or stipulations that could endanger the user can increase the power of their Nen abilities, as taking extra risks confirms the user's resolve, thereby strengthening their willpower. The bigger the risk you take, the stronger your willpower is, allowing your ability to get stronger. You can do it with one big restriction that limits how you can use your ability and who you can use it on, or a few smaller, more manageable limitations. Okay, I think I get it now, but which type am I going to use, and how bad will the restrictions be? Don't worry, Nicholas, it won't be too bad. The only restriction is you can only access the internet through a device, so if you don't have a device, you can only go through your brain. And when you access the internet, you can only go into files you can normally get into with your clearance level. Neither of these are too bad, as almost everybody has at least a phone on them, and you have a very high clearance level as a professional licensed hunter. Okay, I get that. So what's the second ability you want me to develop? The next ability will be called Soul Flare, and it will allow you to quite literally see the Nen affinity and latent potential behind a person. First, you'll conjure a flaming ball that's connected to your mind via a link. Anybody in its light will, on instinct, activate Ren to show you their aura. Their Ren will show up as different colors for different affinities. When their Ren activates, the ball of flames will communicate a fraction to you that will be the person's amount of talent. The bigger the denominator, the rarer their talent is. Oh, that sounds complicated. What type of limitations will I have to put on it? Only one limitation is needed, and it will be a big one. Soul Flare won't work on anybody who already knows Nen. While I've been explaining the Hatsu I want him to develop, I conjured a Nen dry erase marker and made a visual explanation so he can go back over the concepts even when I leave. I know he won't be able to get even one of these Hatsu down in the next few days, but he will be able to see this even when I'm gone, and it will most assuredly help him to create the abilities. Right as I finish explaining the Hatsu to Nicholas, Evelyn walks in and announces to me, "Sir, all members for the meeting have arrived. They are all waiting in the meeting room." Chapter 36. The meeting room is spacious and imposing, fitting for the family's important discussions. It's located in the heart of the family's headquarters, a modern yet subtly elegant room designed to evoke power and legacy. As usual, everything is made of metal, but uniquely, there is a long, dark oak table sitting in the center of the room. It's polished to a high sheen, reflecting the dim light from overhead fixtures. The table is wide enough to seat everyone comfortably, with a few empty chairs at either end reserved for the more prominent figures of the family. Around it, the other chairs are simple but high-backed, made of rich leather and a dark brown hue, offering both comfort and authority. Everyone is seated, all members present. I sit at the head of the table, with the leader of the Gudundan tribe on the opposite end, facing me. "All right," I begin, my voice calm but firm. "We've got a year ahead of us, and we need to set things in motion. This family needs to function even when I'm not around. That's the only way we'll grow, and that's why I'm appointing Nicholas as head of recruiting, finance, intelligence, and negotiations." I motion for Nicholas to step forward, and he does, surprising the original members of the family. A few murmurs ripple through the room. I glance around, meeting the eyes of the family members. They're still adjusting to this new dynamic. Most of them are used to following orders without question, but now they'll have to make decisions under a leader they barely know. It's up to me to guide them, to show them I trust Nicholas to lead in my absence. Now, moving on to more serious business, the plan is simple, I continue, keeping my voice steady. In 1 week, we're leaving on a journey that will take us away for a year. Hanzo and Ponzu are coming with me. The rest of you will need to hold things down and continue our expansion in the shadows. Evelyn, the most senior female member, speaks up first. "We've been undefended ever since you left last time and ordered our fighters to focus on expansion. Can we handle everything without you?" Other families are starting to notice the decline of smaller mafia organizations in this area. I meet her gaze. She's one of the most capable members, but I can tell she's worried. "You've all been decently trained, and if it makes you feel better, we can station 2 of our fighters at the base while I'm away. I'm not just handing things over carelessly, these will be our 2 best sparable fighters. I'm delegating responsibilities during my absence, and I expect all of you to step into leadership roles." I glance down at the table, organizing my thoughts. I've worked hard to get to this point, and I won't let fear dictate our next move. "Sebastian, you're in charge of our defenses and training new recruits in combat while I'm gone," I say, looking toward a tall, lanky man at the far end of the table. He's always been sharp and precise with our base's defensive placements. "You've got the defense layouts down, and you're a solid fighter. I trust you to keep everything running smoothly." Sebastian nods, his sharp eyes never leaving me. "Understood." "Evelyn," I turn to her, "you're managing our alliances and any political matters alongside Nicholas. Your ability to handle delicate situations is invaluable. You know what to do." Evelyn gives a nod, her expression serious. "I'll take care of it." The others sit in silence for a moment, but I can see they're processing everything. This is more than just a power shift, it's a test of how well we can function without me watching over every key decision. "I'm confident in all of you," I say, looking around the room. "But we have to think long term. We're not just trying to survive while I'm gone, we need to thrive. We've been laying the groundwork for the past month, but now it's time to start building our empire. We're not just maintaining. We're expanding." A brief silence follows as everyone digests my words. I see flickers of doubt in some of their eyes, but I push forward. "We'll target markets that don't require my immediate involvement. We'll also begin recruiting beyond our usual circles, investing long-term in the people of Meteor City. With the new Hatsu Nicholas is developing, we can bring in stronger members. We need good relations with the locals if we're ever going to take over the government and put Meteor City back on the map." Evelyn raises her hand slightly. "What about the family business? What if we accidentally provoke a major protection company? Can we maintain a war without your tactical guidance?" I nod. "Of course. The core business is stable and won't collapse, even if we get into a conflict with a major player. But we can't rely solely on it. We need to diversify our influence and become indispensable in other sectors. We must be ready for whatever challenges the world throws at us. When I return, we're going to make big waves in the global market." Feel free to delegate some of your responsibilities so you're not overwhelmed in your roles. With that, I rise, ready to move forward. There's a lot to prepare in the coming days before we depart, but I'm ready. The family is in capable hands, and I trust them to rise to the challenge. Chapter 37. As the meeting comes to a close, a tense quiet fills the room. The weight of the decisions that have been made lingers, and everyone knows the time has come for us to leave. There's no more talk of what will happen, only what must be done. I rise from my seat, my gaze sweeping over the group one last time before our departure. The room is quieter than usual, the hum of tension palpable as everyone prepares for what's to come. The reality of our year-long journey sets in, and I can feel the mixed emotions in the air. The gravity of leaving the family behind, coupled with the sense of purpose and duty we've all been called to, is undeniable. All right, I say, my voice steady but carrying the weight of finality. This is it. We're leaving in an hour, and we won't be back for a while. You all know what's at stake, and I trust you to hold things down while we're gone. I glance at Nicholas, who's now standing by the door. He gives a short nod, his face serious. The family members rise, each moving to offer a final exchange of words before the journey ahead. The air is thick with unspoken emotions, some are relieved to get started, while others are unsure of what the next year will bring. I walk over to Evelyn first, who's now standing by the table, her arms folded as she looks me over. You take care of things while we're gone, I say, my voice low. Don't let them forget who we are. Evelyn gives me a small but confident smile. I've got it. Go, get whatever you need, and come back without a scratch. We'll take care of the rest. I nod, feeling reassured. She has a knack for keeping the peace and ensuring things run smoothly. Then I move to Sebastian, who's now standing near the corner, a rare flicker of uncertainty passing through his usually focused eyes. You've got the defenses covered, and that's crucial. Don't let anyone get too comfortable. If they do, we'll be the ones who suffer. Feel free to contact me if you need help or if you're planning a raid on another family. Sebastian meets my gaze, his sharp expression softening for a brief moment. Understood. I'll handle it. You just focus on what you need to do. We'll hold the fort here. I offer him a quick nod before moving toward Hanzo and Ponzu. They're both standing together, their eyes sharp, their bodies ready. It's clear they're the most prepared for this journey, their own leadership growing more necessary with each passing day. Stay close, I tell them, my tone firm but filled with trust. We've got a year ahead of us, and I expect you both to be in top shape by the end of it. Heaven Arena is brutal for Nunan users, but it'll be your proving ground, Ponzu. You need to be ready for anything. Hanzo frowns, his face contorting into a confused expression. Wait, why not me? Why did you only say Ponzu? Ponzu nods silently, the ever-steady partner to Hanzo's more vocal nature. I walk out of the meeting room, the steel doors sliding shut behind me with a soft hiss. As we enter the next hallway, I glance around the room where the family is starting to trickle out, their steps heavy but determined. Evelyn is already speaking with some of the higher-ups, strategizing the coming weeks. Sebastian is moving through the corridors, checking the state of our defenses, probably mentally mapping out each detail. Nicholas is deep in conversation with a few trusted members, outlining the specifics of his new role and the tasks ahead. The rest of the group has gathered their things, silently preparing to see us off. They know what this means. The next year will be about survival, strength, and testing loyalty. They'll be responsible for keeping the family's presence intact while I'm away. I trust them to do it, but there's always that nagging thought in the back of my mind. The rest of the family follows, and we all move toward the ladder that will take us out into Meteor City. Our destination lies ahead, but there's one final stop before we begin our journey, preparing our training schedules for the year. The trip to Heaven Arena is long, and the atmosphere is charged with focus. Each of us is mentally bracing for the rigorous training ahead, knowing the competition there won't be enough to push us to our limits. I'll need to train them extra hard. Evelyn pulls up a tablet screen and begins displaying the training regimen, mapped out to ensure that every day counts. "Here's the schedule you asked for, boss," she announces as we gather around. "It's intense, but it'll prepare the recruits for everything." Her voice is calm and professional. Training will consist of 4 main sections: physical conditioning, combat arts, strategy and teamwork, and mental discipline. Under the caption Physical Training, it says, "Each day starts with a 2-hour training session designed to push the body to its maximum limits. Cardio, strength, agility drills, and endurance tests. Every morning will begin with a high-intensity circuit to build strength and stamina, followed by martial arts conditioning to sharpen reflexes and fight readiness." Under the caption Combat Arts, it states, "The second part of the day will focus on refining fighting skills. You'll work through different combat techniques, strikes, grapples, weapon training, and strategic fighting. The objective is to be adaptable in every scenario, from unarmed brawls to combat with weapons in the field." The words under the caption Strategy and Teamwork declare, "Afternoons will be dedicated to honing your strategic minds. This section will focus on decision-making under pressure, real-time tactical training, and team coordination. You'll simulate different combat situations and practice various formations and maneuvers." And finally, under the caption Mental Discipline, it says, "Every evening will end with a focus on mental fortitude. You'll engage in meditation, tactical simulations, and psychological endurance exercises. Nen is a test of willpower, adaptability, and intelligence. To be considered a master and a top-tier fighter, you must be adaptable with unbreaking will." As my floating saucer cuts through the sky, I feel the weight of the events ahead, events I want to take part in. We won't just survive this next year. We will dominate. Chapter 38. 3 days later, on February 3rd, the air is thick with anticipation as we approach Heaven's Arena, the immense structure towering before us like a dark, imposing sentinel. My shadow saucer glides silently through the sky, its sleek form cutting through the clouds as we descend near the city's outskirts. Ponzu and Hanzo stand beside me on the ship, their faces unreadable but their eyes sharp with focus. Nicholas is not here, he's been left behind to manage things in Meteor City, ensuring the family's stability and survival while we go off to fight and prove ourselves. It's strange not having him by our side, but I trust him to handle it. Right now, our sole focus is on the future and what happens inside this arena. I glance at Ponzu, who's checking data on her tablet. She looks up, her usual calm demeanor intact, but there's a subtle tension in how she holds herself. Hanzo, standing next to her, shifts his weight, his gaze locked on the arena ahead. Both of them are ready. As we descend toward the ground, Ponzu is surprised by the sheer scale of Heaven's Arena. The arena is colossal, a towering skyscraper that stretches far into the sky, its structure imposing and cold. It rises like a dark, monolithic sentinel in the middle of an otherwise ordinary city. I guide the shadow saucer to the flattest land I can find and feel the weight of the place pressing down on me. As the ship touches down with a soft thud, I take a deep breath. The air here tastes different, almost metallic. I guess after 3 days above the clouds, everything tastes different. Ponzu steps out first, her eyes scanning the surroundings with practiced precision. Hanzo follows close behind, his face expressionless, but his body tense and ready. I'm the last to step out, but I take the lead as we walk. We talk a little as we move, discussing what we'll be doing here beyond training and fighting. As we chat, I turn a corner and walk into a very upscale shop. Hanzo and Ponzu follow reluctantly, asking in confusion, "Boss, why are we in here?" Without responding, I walk up to the man behind the counter and whisper, "Has it come out yet?" He nods silently. I ask, "How much is it?" As he pulls out a thick, Dark-colored book with light-colored trim and large text on the front. That will be 12 million Jenny, sir. I pull out a wad of cash wrapped in a rubber band and hand it to him in exchange for the book. The cover reads, Southern Peace Auction Catalog. Back on the street, after quietly leaving the store, Ponzu asks, "What's the Southern Peace Auction?" Her tone is curious. I explain, the Southern Peace Auction is held every year in York New City. It has an item I want, several copies of it, actually, and buying the catalog is the only way to get in. As I speak, I pull a card out of the book and slide it into my pocket. Thanks to the Shadow Saucer, we arrived nearly 4 weeks before Gon and Killua are expected to show up. I plan to use this time to strengthen Hanzo and get Ponzu to the 200th floor so I can make some money betting on her. The auction lasts about 5 days. Some of the most sought-after items in the world go up for sale. This year, it includes multiple copies of the game Greed Island. So, you want a video game? What's so special about it? They both ask at the same time. I open the catalog, flip to the page, and let them read over my shoulder. Greed Island is the most dangerous video game in the world, meant only for hunters. It is played on a Joy-Station console. The game teleports its players into a real location, only releasing them when they die, win, or leave the game. If someone dies in the game, they die in real life. Okay, it's a special game where if you die in real life. What about it? Ponzu asks, still probably confused as to why anyone would want such a game. Well, Ponzu, it's not that simple. First, it doesn't suck players in, it teleports them. Greed Island is a real place, and to enter, you have to be a NEN user. It's most likely the best training area for any hunter in the world. Anyway, we're almost to the arena, and there's something I need to tell you. They look at me with confused expressions until I drop the bombshell neither of them expects. Hanzo, you're not participating. Ponzu is the only one of us who will sign up to the roster and compete in Heaven's Arena. Hanzo steps back, his face a mix of sadness and shock. What? Why, boss? Why can't I participate? With a serious tone, I explain, Hanzo, as a future member, maybe even a leader, of the Shadow Syndicate, fame from fighting in Heaven's Arena is not good. Above the 200th floor, everyone knows NEN, and if you develop a special ability, the whole world will know. Heaven's Arena is the biggest fighting venue in the world. People who pass the 200th floor become household names in martial arts. You can't risk having your NEN abilities exposed if you ever face another skilled user. In a dejected tone, Hanzo responds, I understand. But if I'm not participating, what will I do while Ponzu fights? You'll be training with me on my personal floor. Ponzu won't be fighting right away anyway. She needs training, especially since floors below the 200th don't allow weapons, and your neurotoxin bees are technically considered weapons. I've developed a method to get both of you into perfect shape to beat anyone here in 2 weeks. Getting to Heaven's Arena is easy, it's kind of hard to miss, being the 4th largest building in the world, right in the middle of a regular city. We enter through the main entrance and head straight to the elevator. As we step inside, the operator greets us. Good day, Mr. Lucas. What floor would you like to go to today? 231st floor, please. Oh, and no matter who calls, don't return to the 231st floor for the next 2 weeks. I say it politely to avoid making her feel unwelcome. What's the new training method, boss? Hanzo asks. You'll see, and feel, when we get there, I reply, a maniacal smile spreading across my face. Both of them look unnerved by it, while the elevator operator wears her usual emotionless smile, the kind that could creep out even someone like Hisoka. At least I'm showing emotion, even if it's a twisted one. As we reach the 231st floor, the elevator heats up to an unbearable degree for most people. This whole floor is at 150 degrees. I've set up heaters all over, and swapped the LEDs for incandescent bulbs, making it darker and even hotter. The rest of the tricks, you'll discover soon enough. If possible, my smile grows even wider and more menacing. We step out, and the elevator leaves, stranding Hanzo and Ponzu on this floor for the next 2 weeks. Chapter 39. We walk around the floor as I explain their task for the next 2 weeks. You will stay alert. I will attack you at any time, and every time you let go of 10, I will make this floor 5 degrees hotter. That may not sound like much now, but if you don't take that warning seriously, you'll regret it. Your main task is to live a normal life up here, and also not to die. Hanzo moves to take a seat at the bar, but as he grabs the metal stool and pulls, nothing happens. Instead of moving, the stool scorches his hand. His arm turns red and blistered from the heat. He pulls back, yelling, "Ow, ow." Oh, and by the way, every object on this floor is made of metal and weighs at least 100 kilograms. Also, the gravity here is adjustable. It's crazy what they let you do when you customize your own floor with no extra fees. The stronger you get at moving objects, the heavier they'll become. Eventually, when the gravity reaches its maximum, any higher and the whole building would collapse. You'll start using weights. But that probably won't happen for a while. With that said, I walked toward my bedroom, leaving them to their own devices. After flying for 3 straight days using Nen, I need a nap. As soon as I touch my bed, I activate 10 so I don't get burned by my own traps. As soon as I wake up, I begin terrorizing them using shadows from across the hall, tapping and lightly striking them at random intervals. I monitor them with N as they scramble across the floor. Hanzo, growing more frantic with every tap, tries using his instincts to dodge. He's drenched in sweat, his eyes darting as he braces for each next strike. They still haven't figured out how to counter the shadows. Maybe they're too focused on avoiding the hits to think about how to neutralize them. But finally, Hanzo manages to dodge 5 in a row. I don't stop, though. I shift the shadows, making the attacks more unpredictable and come from impossible angles. I want to see how long he can keep up. After 10 minutes, his breath is ragged, and his aura pulses with exertion. But there's something in his eyes, pride, and deep concentration. I let him rest and step out of my room. Okay, that was a nice warm-up, especially for you, Hanzo. But Ponzu, you need to relax and concentrate on feeling the strikes. Use 10 so you don't get injured even if you're hit. Now, we're moving to the arena room for further training. Follow me, I say, leading them down the corridor. The arena room door is large, black, and made of reinforced steel, standing out against the rest of the dim, overheated floor. I push it open with force, revealing a massive, high-tech training facility. The room is vast, easily the size of a football field, and filled with training apparatuses, weighted dummies, punching bags mounted on reinforced metal frames, and obstacles designed for agility and endurance. At the far end, there are multi-layered platforms, each one a challenge under this heat and increased gravity. This is where you'll learn to adapt. I want to see how well you can perform physically while coping with heat and gravity, I explain. Here, you'll be training in the Shingen Ryu fighting style. It's not just about strength, it's about controlling your body and Nen in harmony with your surroundings. I'll guide you through the basics today, then we'll move to sparring. Let's start with stance, I say, turning to them. I demonstrate the first posture, feet shoulder width apart, knees slightly bent, body upright but relaxed. In Shingen Ryu, the foundation of your strength is your stance. Your balance is everything. Especially here, where the environment works against you. Lose your stance, lose your power. I walk them through the basic movements, fluid yet powerful strikes paired with defensive motions. Hanzo's movements are fast and precise, but he's sacrificing form for speed. Ponzu is more methodical but less fluid, likely still adjusting to the oppressive heat and gravity. Remember, Shingen Ryu is about harmony between body and mind. Your nen must flow with your movements. You're not just attacking, you're anticipating. Reacting before the strike happens. Ponzu struggles with balance on the uneven floor. The temperature is becoming unbearable. Her skin reddens, and her focus wavers as she tries to stabilize her nen. Her posture falters, throwing off her center of gravity. Ponzu, drop your shoulders, I call out. You're tensing up too much. Relax your body. Let your nen flow. Don't resist the pressure, move with it. I give them a moment to catch their breath. Their struggles are expected, but that won't stop me from pushing them. You'll need to fight in worse conditions than this, where more than just physical obstacles stand in your way. You'll have to rely on your body and nen equally. This training is only the beginning. Let's increase the difficulty. I adjust the gravity. The room now presses back harder, making every step feel heavier. Both Hanzo and Ponzu stagger slightly but fight to remain upright. Now, I continue, we move to combat. I'm going to demonstrate a basic Shingen Ryu counter technique. When an opponent strikes, you don't just block, you redirect. I close the distance to Hanzo and throw a light punch at his chest. He reacts quickly, raising his arm to block, but I catch his wrist and twist, using his momentum to flip him onto his back. He grunts from the impact. I'm not here to play nice. That's lesson 1, I say, my voice cold but instructive. Use their force, don't waste your own. Ponzu, startled by the speed of the move, watches intently. I see her focus sharpen. Now, I say, I'll go slower so you can see how to apply nen to this. I demonstrate again, this time flaring my nen, subtly manipulating the air to increase the speed and misdirection of the strike. They struggle at first, overwhelmed by the combination of heat, gravity, and technique. But they're starting to get it, I can see it in their eyes. The fundamentals are clicking. Keep your nen steady and focused, I remind them. Only when your mind and body are aligned can you use this technique properly. Hours pass. They train relentlessly. Their bodies are fatigued, but their minds are sharpening. I watch, quietly impressed, as they slowly improve. Hanzo's form becomes more refined. His strikes grow sharper, even as the heat wears him down. Ponzu grows more confident in using nen, redirecting my strikes with increasing precision. Okay, training is over for today. Remember to meditate in your rooms and maintain 10 at all times. I smirk. Oh, and good luck getting to your rooms. Hanzo, yours is first on the left. Ponzu, second on the right. Good night. Chapter 40. 2 weeks pass in what feels like the blink of an eye. I've kept the pressure on them every single day, never letting up. The heat, the gravity, the constant mental strain, I've ensured they never forget the stakes. I've pushed them harder than I ever imagined I would, and it shows. Hanzo's movements are sharper and more calculated. His speed has improved, but more importantly, his control over nen has reached a level where he's beginning to think in terms of timing, not just reflex. It's been a struggle, but I can see the progress in his eyes. There's a clarity now that wasn't there before. Ponzu, still methodical, has come into her own. The heat no longer weighs her down like it used to. She's learned how to manage her nen in even the most intense conditions. Her balance has improved drastically, her strikes have become more fluid, and there's less hesitation in her actions. She's begun to move with the gravity and pressure instead of fighting against it. I've been watching them closely, studying every change, every sign of growth. They're not perfect, but they're more than capable of beating everyone here, at least up to the weakling trio on the 200th floor. In the past 2 weeks, they've become strong, durable, and precise. The current temperature on this floor is a staggering 315 degrees, and gravity is at 5 times normal, making nearly everything here weigh over a ton. Ponzu has definitely surpassed Gon through this training, and Hanzo is closing in on Killua physically, though that's mostly thanks to his past training as a ninja. Both of them have reached a level of mastery in Shingen Ryu that's honestly impressive, though I admit, my motivational punches probably had something to do with it. On top of Shingen Ryu, I've begun teaching Hanzo assassination techniques like rhythm echo and shadow step. While I train Hanzo in those arts, Ponzu has continued to deepen her Shingen Ryu foundation. Soon, they'll both begin developing their Hatsu. Hanzo, Ponzu, come here a moment, I shout across the training arena. As they walk over, I quickly plan how to break the news. If I go too casually, they might get overconfident. If I'm too harsh, Ponzu might doubt herself. In the end, I go for directness. Ponzu, I believe it's time. You're ready to fight almost everyone here. Hanzo and I will watch your first 2 matches, but after that, you're on your own. You'll only come back here to train and sleep. A smile spreads across her face and her posture straightens. But there's a catch. Every time you return here, you must spend at least 4 hours relearning how to control your strength and speed. The gravity has increased in increments, and you're at least 5 times faster than before. You've grown used to everything being incredibly heavy, so be careful. If you open a door in the lobby too hard, you might launch it out of the city. They both nod, as if it all makes perfect sense. That being said, let's begin the waiting period. I pull a remote from my pocket and return the gravity to normal. Then I go to my room and bring out over 200 heat-resistant, regularly weighted tea sets. You'll be ready to go once you can pour a cup of tea without breaking anything. It takes nearly 5 hours, but eventually, both Ponzu and Hanzo manage to control their strength well enough not to break the fragile sets. Ponzu steps into the elevator, ready to sign up for her first fight on the first floor. Hanzo follows, gaze steady, pride written all over him. He's been there through it all, and I know he's rooting for her. We watch as they step off the elevator. Ponzu scans her surroundings, taking it all in. The atmosphere is different here. These people might call themselves experienced fighters, but they wouldn't last a day in this year's Hunter exam. As we approach the registration desk, Hanzo and I step aside to let Ponzu register alone. When she returns, she says, "I got number 4012. Nice. Now head into the first arena and wait for your number to be called," I instruct as I lead us toward the viewing room. They instinctively follow. About 30 minutes later, a voice over the speakers calls, "Number 1856 and number 4012, please enter Arena D." "Oh, that's me. See you guys," Ponzu says cheerfully and heads toward the arena entrance. Before she can enter, I yell out, "Ponzu, don't kill him, just hit lightly." A burly man steps forward, eyeing her with a smug grin. New blood. Ready for a fight. Ponzu doesn't flinch. Her shoulders shift slightly as she breathes in, calm and focused. There's an intensity in her eyes that tells me all I need to know. "I'm ready. Let's see what you've got." The fight ends in seconds. Before I can even blink, Ponzu dodges a flurry of wild punches and counters with a swift strike to the gut. The man flies into the stands, nearly colliding with innocent bystanders. Ponzu stands tall, not a bead of sweat on her. The crowd murmurs in disbelief. I catch Hanzo's eye, and we exchange a look of pride. Without delay, Ponzu collects her ticket and heads to the 50th floor. We follow at a distance. At the 50th floor, the competition gets tougher. Her next opponent is a massive woman with dark, braided hair twisted to resemble a hippo. She cracks her knuckles menacingly. "Newcomer, huh? Let's see if you've got what it takes to beat the hippo." Ponzu doesn't respond. She simply settles into her stance. The match begins. The woman charges with overwhelming force, but Ponzu is calm, collected. Her dodges are fluid. Her counters, precise. She sidesteps a haymaker, sweeps the woman's legs, and sends her crashing to the mat. A precise strike to a pressure point ends it. The crowd falls silent. Hanzo grabs her ticket and walks out without a word, focused entirely on her goal. Before she reaches the elevator, I stop her so Hanzo and I can say our goodbyes. Good job, Hanzo. We'll see you when you reach the 200th floor. Your training really worked, boss. I barely tried, and that fat guy went flying. The hippo lady was super easy too. If this is the level of opponents here, then I'll see you and Hanzo very soon. Bye. Chapter 41. The elevator hums softly as we ascend, the weight of excess gravity pressing down on us even as the cabin moves upward. Hanzo stands beside me, silent. He's been waiting for this, for me to finally take the training wheels off and give him something more advanced. Something that will push him further. The elevator slows. A familiar ding echoes as the doors slide open to my floor. I glance briefly at Hanzo as we step out. His movements are smoother now, more natural. But it's not enough, not yet. It's time to sharpen that blade. Hanzo, you ready? I ask, my voice low. He nods. No hesitation. No words needed. That's how I know he's serious. Follow me. I gesture toward the center of the floor, where the target dummy is set up. We don't waste time. I step forward, positioning myself a few meters from the dummy. Hanzo's eyes lock onto it immediately, his focus absolute. This is called the soundless strike, I say, my voice cutting through the tension like a blade. It's all about precision. Not speed for the sake of speed. Not brute force. You need to strike cleanly, sharply, but silently. No energy wasted. You're not just hitting a target. You're eliminating the very sound of your movement. I don't wait for a response. I don't need to. I take a breath, step into my stance, and move. The punch lands squarely on the dummy, no sound, no air displacement. Nothing. Just a quiet thud, absorbed by the dummy's padding. I step back as smoothly as I struck. The air around me is still. It's as if I never moved. I hear Hanzo's sharp intake of breath beside me. He's watching, absorbing, analyzing. His eyes are focused not just on the strike itself, but the stillness surrounding it. You see? I ask, turning to him. It's not just about the hit. It's about everything around it. You move without disturbing the environment. That's the art of the soundless strike. You can hit an opponent with lethal force, and they'll never know you were there. Hanzo's expression doesn't change, but I can see he's processing it. He's already shifting into stance, movements more deliberate. But he's trying too hard. His shoulders tense, muscles overcompensating. He's forcing it, pushing Nen with urgency instead of control. No, I say, calm but firm. You're rushing. This isn't about speed, it's about control and precision. Feel the movement. Let the energy move through your body naturally. Don't force it. Watch again, but this time use Gyo. He nods and activates Gyo, eyes tracking my form closely as I demonstrate the strike once more. He finally speaks. Okay, boss. I think I got it. So you let your Nen flow calmly, saturating the air. And once it's fully in sync, you control it so there's not a single sound, right? Yeah, that's basically it, I reply, watching him reset. He softens his stance, closes his eyes for a moment, and exhales, letting his Nen flow. Now try again, I say, stepping back. Hanzo steps forward, nearly a blur as he strikes. This time, there's no rush of energy, no wasted motion. His Nen clears a path through the air, silent, smooth. His fist lands with precision, and the air barely stirs. I nod. Better. But you're not there yet. Still too much excess movement. Again, focus. No noise. No waste. He steps forward again, more concentrated this time. I can feel the change in his aura. His Nen hums with control. He strikes again, smoother, cleaner. That's more like it, I say, stepping in to study his face. There's no arrogance. Just a sharp, focused intensity. You're not perfect, I continue. But you're close. Soundless strike is about more than hitting a target. It's about mastering your nen, your body, and your environment. Every movement must be in sync. Once you master this, you'll be able to close in on any opponent, and they won't even hear you coming. Hanzo exhales and nods. His posture relaxes slightly, but his eyes remain fixed, unwavering. Keep practicing, I tell him, turning back toward the center of the room. We'll run it a few more times. Don't stop until it's instinct. Each of his strikes grows quieter, more controlled. Subtle shifts begin to emerge in his form, more flow, less rigidity. I can feel it. His control is tightening. His understanding, deepening. He's starting to get it. Slowly but surely, Hanzo is evolving. He'll get there. He just needs a little more time, and maybe a bit more of a push from me. Chapter 42. The air around us is still, thick with concentration. Hanzo stands beside me, already attuned to the harsh environment of this floor. His progress over the past 2 days has been impressive. He's mastered the soundless strike, and now, with that technique under his belt, it's time to return to nen training. I can feel his energy, a quiet intensity, a hunger for more. Good work with the soundless strike, I begin, my voice low but firm. But we're just getting started. Hanzo doesn't speak, but the glint in his eyes says enough. No hesitation. No doubt. He's ready. I move forward, feeling the pulse of nen rise around me. You've learned the basics, ten, ren, zetsu, en, in, gyo. But now, we dive deeper into the advanced principles. Over the next month, we'll focus on shu, ken, ko, and ryu. This will give you more control, more power, and more versatility. We'll spend 1 week on each. Let's begin with shu. I step forward and raise my hand, extending my aura outward. It flows from my body into the object I've chosen, a large metal sphere resting nearby. Slowly, I channel my nen into it, wrapping it like a second skin. Shu, I explain, my eyes on the metal, is about pushing your nen into an object, making it your own. The object doesn't matter. What matters is your connection to it. Think of it as extending your ten to encompass the object and yourself. I hold the sphere for a moment, then gently lower it back to the ground. I turn to Hanzo, who's been watching closely. Your turn. Reach out with your nen, but don't rush. Let it flow naturally. Feel the object, bond with it. Hanzo steps forward with steady posture. His nen extends toward the sphere, curling around it, unsteady at first. But he doesn't panic. He breathes slowly, focusing, and finally manages to envelop the sphere in a light layer of aura. Good, I nod. You're starting to feel it. He doesn't reply, but I see the shift in his eyes as he refines the technique. It's not perfect, but he's getting there. Oh hey, I add. Let's pick up again tomorrow. Get some rest, you look tired. Tomorrow will push your mind and body even further. Sure, boss, he says, walking quietly back to his room. The next day, Hanzo is more focused. He steps forward, eyes locked on the sphere, his movements deliberate. His nen flows again, and this time it doesn't flicker. The aura wraps around the object, steady and unwavering. The sphere doesn't move yet, but the energy feels different. Stronger, more confident. You're too tense, I tell him. Let the nen flow like water. Don't force it. It's a bond, not a struggle. He breathes deeply, releasing the tension. The next attempt is smoother. His nen coils around the sphere like a protective shell, vibrating with quiet power. The connection is growing. Better, I say, approving. You're starting to understand the flow. Now, strengthen the sphere and throw it at me. That'll be your real test. The first few tries, his aura can't hold long enough for the sphere to reach me. But around the 12th attempt, he gets it. I punch the sphere midair, shattering it. Pieces scatter and embed into one of the walls. It's so hard even with a small object, but I think I can get it down by the end of the day, Hanzo says, panting. If I do, what's next? Luckily, I'm prepared. I've got bigger, heavier spheres with his name on them. By the end of the week, Hanzo's control is flawless. His nen envelops the sphere like a seamless extension of himself, strengthening it effortlessly. The week has both sharpened him and reinforced his nen fundamentals. As he lowers the sphere to the ground, his eyes are sharp, focused. Not bad at all, I say. You've got the basics of Shu down. But remember, this is just the beginning. Hanzo smirks. Bring on next week's challenge. Next week, I reply, we begin Ken. And for the record, you did great. I didn't expect you to make it to the 8-ton ball. My words brighten him, the praise giving him a glow of pride and fresh energy. Thanks. See you tomorrow. He calls as he disappears into his room. The air is heavy with anticipation as I stand across from Hanzo. His eyes burn with determination. The week of Shu is over. Today, we begin Ken. Ken is an advanced form of Ten in Ren, I explain. Primarily defensive, but it demands far more control and energy. With Ken, you maintain a constant state of Ren at a higher output, creating a dense aura around your entire body. I raise my hand, letting my Nen flare around me. The aura output is about 10 times that of Ten. You maintain it, constantly, across your body. It blocks attacks from all sides, but it's draining. By the end of the week, I expect you to hold Ken for at least 45 minutes. It'll exhaust you faster than anything else I've taught. I lower my hand, letting the energy fade. It also offers protection against Ko, which you'll learn next. It's not meant for offense. Ken is for endurance and defense. Some even expand its radius like a mini N, but I don't recommend it. Hanzo listens closely, already plotting his approach. I see the hunger in his eyes. He takes a breath and steps forward. Okay, so. I use Ren, contain it around myself with Ten, and push out a dense aura shell. His Nen surges. He's pushing past his Ten comfort zone. At first, it's shaky. The aura wavers, flickering at the edges. Release more, but not too much, I say. It's not just more aura. You have to maintain it steadily. Keep the flow balanced. He breathes again, deeper. His focus sharpens. The aura thickens, expanding. The pressure builds around him, and the air hums faintly. Slowly, he forms a full-body field of Nen. It's not perfect yet, but it's solid. His aura surrounds him like a barrier. Good, I nod. But not solid enough. Cover every inch. Keep pushing. Hanzo steadies himself. His breathing slows. He concentrates. His Nen condenses further. The field tightens. The energy becomes more defined. Better, I say more softly. Now, maintain it. Don't let it slip. He grimaces slightly. The strain is showing, in his shoulders, his breath. But he holds it. The aura dips, then stabilizes again. Good, I say, stepping in. But Ken isn't just strength. It's balance. This is more aura than Ten. It's supposed to be tiring. Hanzo nods, sweat dripping from his brow. It's hard to keep it up. That's the point. You'll get used to it. Ken trains your endurance. The longer you hold it, the more resilient you become. Keep practicing. Learn to hold steady. Chapter 43. By the end of the week, Hanzo's aura is stable, and he can hold Ken for 25 minutes. When I step into the arena and see him training, I approach to get his attention. Stepping forward with what I hope looks like a disappointed expression, I say, you've made solid progress. You can now use Ken to protect yourself from attacks in all directions. I'm not going to lie, 25 minutes is halfway decent. But I expected better. We'll need to work on your aura reserves if you want to stand a chance in a real fight. Hanzo stands tall, his breathing steady but deep. He doesn't respond, but I can see the sadness and disappointment in his eyes. To break the tension, I shift gears. Ko is a combination of several Nen techniques. I begin, watching him carefully for any sign of hesitation. It combines Ten, Zetsu, Ren, Hatsu, and Gyo to concentrate all of your Nen into one part of your body. The more concentrated the aura, the more powerful that part becomes. But while you focus all of your energy on that spot, the rest of your body becomes completely unprotected. Hanzo listens closely, eyes sharp and focused. First, use Gyo to direct your aura to a single body part, I continue. Zetsu cuts off the flow of energy to the rest of your body. Ten holds the aura in place, while Ren amplifies it. When done correctly, that focused point becomes dozens of times more powerful. But there's a catch. I pause, letting the weight of the lesson settle. Ko is extremely offensive but dangerously vulnerable. If your opponent is faster and strikes you where you're not using Ko, you're exposed. That's why it's a high-risk technique. You use it when you're sure your strike will land. I gesture toward a large metal ball nearby. This was meant for your shoe training if you'd gotten this far. It weighs over 30 tons and is highly durable. Now watch what happens when I use Ko. I raise my hand, slowly channeling my aura into my palm. I strike the ball at a snail's pace, and it goes flying across the arena. Hanzo's eyes widen with amazement. What? You barely touched it, and it went flying. Yep, I say, smiling. Now imagine if I struck at full speed, or used my aura to part the air in front of the blow. It would be dozens of times more powerful. In fact, some Nen users make Ko the foundation of their Hatsu, adding conditions to make it even stronger. Now you try. Hanzo steps forward with resolve. His stance is steady, and I can see the determination in his eyes. He begins focusing his aura, the energy around him building. But it's not quite right yet, his aura is too spread out, diffusing instead of concentrating. Focus on one spot, I say. Your fist, your leg, whatever you choose. But concentrate all of your Nen there. Don't let your aura leak. Hanzo breathes deeply, his eyes narrowing. Slowly, his aura begins to shrink, pulling toward his fist. He grits his teeth as the energy builds. The aura grows more intense around his hand, but his chest and legs are still radiating excess energy. Don't rush it, I advise. Zetsu is the key. Stop the flow everywhere else first. Get that under control. Hanzo nods, sweat forming on his brow. I watch closely as his aura contracts more tightly around his fist. He's making progress, but some energy is still slipping out. You're getting there, I say, stepping in. But you're still letting some of it escape. Sharpen your focus. Use Zetsu to lock everything into one point. Think of it as sealing the rest of your body off completely. His aura pulses, a ball of pure energy solidifying around his hand. The air hums with intensity. He's close. It's harder than it looks, Hanzo mutters through clenched teeth. I step back and let him work through it. Ko takes time to master. It's not just about raw power. It's about precision, control, containment. You're learning to manage your aura in a way that maximizes force without sacrificing structure. Hanzo breathes deeply, his aura thickening around his fist. I can sense the frustration, but also the determination. He's pushing himself. Don't be so hard on yourself, I say. Ko isn't something you'll master in a day. It takes time. But you've got the focus. Once you learn to stop the leaks, the power will come naturally. Hanzo glances at me, determination blazing in his eyes. I'll get it right. That's the spirit, I nod. Keep working. You're close. After a few more minutes, Hanzo finally forms a focused sphere of aura around his fist. Okay, Hanzo, I say. Now it's time to work on the strike. He swings, and the ball goes flying halfway across the arena, landing on one of the training dummies. Why didn't mine go as far as yours? He asks, confused. I swung harder and faster, and I actually punched it. I smirk. Because I've trained longer, and I have an absurd amount of aura reserves. Even with a soft strike, if I overload it with Nen, the result will always exceed raw physical force. It's not just about strength, it's about control. Quick break, hunters. Try to touch grass after this if possible. Anyway. Did you know, Nen was inspired by the spiritual energy concepts in Chinese Qigong? And Togashi has said in interviews that he's a big fan of martial arts philosophy. Pretty interesting. Now let's keep going. Chapter 44. Today marks the end of Hanzo's training in Ko. It's March 3rd, the same day Gon and Killua are set to arrive in the original manga. The training has been grueling for Hanzo, breaking him down and building him back up into a better man, and a stronger one. Inside the quiet training room, Hanzo stands before the mirror, examining his reflection. His breathing is slow and measured. Over the past 3 weeks, he's bulked up significantly, reaching a solid, muscular frame with barely any body fat. His ease in mastering Ko isn't surprising, it's considered one of the easier advanced techniques. Personally, I'd rank Ko easier than Ken or En, since it's like using Gyo, forming it into a ball with Ten, and then locking it in with Zetsu. I walk up behind him, casually leaning against the wall. You've done enough for today, I say, my voice light but firm. He doesn't respond immediately, still focused on his reflection. I can see the tension in his shoulders, the way his eyes narrow as he evaluates himself. After a moment, he nods, almost imperceptibly. I suppose, he mutters, turning to face me. The week's up, so I can start learning Ryu now, right? I grin, a bit mischievously. Nope. You're coming with me. We're heading down to the first floor to watch some fights. He doesn't respond at first, clearly skeptical. Hanzo's never been one for watching others fight, but I know this is exactly what he needs, familiar faces. Why the first floor? Wouldn't the 200th floor be better? That's where the stronger fighters are, he finally asks, his voice suggesting he's not too thrilled with the idea. I shrug nonchalantly, already heading to the door. You may be surprised, I say in a mysterious, wise tone. I don't wait for a reply, I just start walking, knowing he'll follow. He always does. We make our way down to the first floor. The noise from the main arena grows louder with every level we pass. As we enter, the massive arena opens before us, a sea of people in the stands, fighters prepping in the corners, and that unmistakable tension that only a real fight brings. The crowd buzzes with excitement as the first match of the day approaches. I spot a couple of familiar faces and wave them over. Gon and Killua have just arrived. Gon's as energetic as ever, grinning wide, while Killua is more laid back, his usual bored expression barely masking the sharpness behind his eyes. They see us instantly and make their way over. Hey, Lucas. Hanzo. Gon shouts, his enthusiasm contagious. When did you get here? Are you gonna fight too? I smile. No, Gon. Remember, I'm already a floor master. I'm just here with Hanzo to watch some matches. Out of our group, Panzu is the only one fighting today. You guys excited? Gon bounces on his heels. Definitely. Killua said I could train and make money here. Killua, hands in pockets, stumbles slightly, his eyes going wide. Wait, you're a floor master? After a beat, the crowd starts murmuring, heads turning. Where? Where? They ask, until fingers point in my direction and dozens of eyes lock on me. I shoot Killua a look and give him a light punch to the head, Not enough to hurt, just enough to sting. You idiot. Why do you have to tell them? I bark. A few moments later, the crowd returns its attention to the arena. I glance at Hanzo, standing quietly beside me. He's watching the scene with intense focus, scanning the fighters and spectators alike. He hasn't said much since we arrived, but I know he's analyzing everything. I nudge him lightly. Enjoying the show, Hanzo? He doesn't look at me, but there's a flicker in his eyes. I'm observing, he replies, voice calm and measured. The bell rings, signaling the start of the first match. Two fighters step into the ring, one large and muscular, the other lean and agile. They circle each other, sizing one another up. I glance back at Hanzo and catch a subtle shift in his posture. He's completely absorbed, his focus razor sharp. He's not here for fun. He's watching. Learning. I can see it in how he tracks every move, every feint, every stance. This could be good, I mutter. The larger fighter throws a heavy punch. The smaller one dodges smoothly and counters with a jab to the ribs. The crowd gasps, then roars. I glance at Killua, who watches with more interest than I expected. He smirks. These guys are weak, gone. Just wait till we get to the 200th floor. Then we'll see real fights, he says loud enough for Gon to hear. I chuckle. You're pretty funny, huh, Killua? He scowls. What's that supposed to mean? You think I'm too weak for the 200th floor? Gon is fully immersed, his eyes wide. Wow. Did you see that move? He dodged just in time. I glance at Hanzo again, his expression unreadable. But I know he's analyzing everything, calculating every mistake and every opportunity. Then my phone buzzes. I pull it out and answer. Nicholas's voice bursts through the speaker, panic-stricken. Boss. The base is under attack. There was a huge explosion, and I don't think we can fight them off for low. Help please. Chapter 45. Immediately after hearing Nicholas's desperate call, I shout, Gon, Killua, we have to go. See ya. I grab Hanzo and start running, explaining what's happening as we go. What was that call about, and why are we rushing out of here at top speed? Hanzo asks, clearly confused but managing to keep pace with me. The call was from Nicholas, I say, handing him my phone. I replay the message I recorded. As he hears Nicholas's ominous words, Hanzo's face darkens, the seriousness of the situation sinking in. While we run, I check the strings, my connection to each member of the family. Nicholas, Evelyn, and a few of the other women are still alive. But everyone else in the hideout, Sebastian included, their strings have vanished. Gone. Dead. I speed up. Hanzo, we don't have time to waste. 20 of our people are already dead. As soon as we're outside the city, I'm creating a jet. I'll be burning through a massive amount of aura to push it to supersonic speeds. You need to be at full capacity when we get there, ready to protect me while I recover. As soon as we reach the city's outskirts, I form the fastest jet I know how to create. We take off instantly. The flight lasts 4 hours. During that time, I watch in horror as the remaining life threads vanish one by one, until only Nicholas and Evelyn remain. And then, within 15 minutes of each other, their strings vanish too. Why is the jet slowing down, boss? Hanzo asks, sensing the drop in speed. With a solemn heart and a stone-cold face, I reply, everyone who was in the base is dead. There's no one left to save. I need to preserve aura for vengeance. Nearly 3 hours later, we reach the outskirts of the small town where our base was hidden. Hanzo, use in, hide your presence. If the ones who did this are still here, we can't risk being found. Not yet. Hanzo looks down and freezes at the devastation. Where the town once stood is now a massive crater, one that reaches deep into the upper levels of our underground base. Damn it. This must be the work of either Silva or the Phantom Troop. Hanzo is stunned by the sight. I don't hesitate, I leap into the crater, searching for bodies I know must be there. My gut tells me what happened. Our fighters must have sensed the surge of aura from above and rushed upward to intercept, only to be annihilated. At the center of the ruined base, I find messages etched into every wall. The words are carved deep, in clear strokes, repeated over and over. We'll accept anything you leave here, but don't ever take anything away from us. The motto of Meteor City. There's no mistaking it now. The Phantom Troop did this. Even if civilians from Meteor City knew Nen, they wouldn't have the power to do this. Judging by the destruction, it looks like Uvagan's Big Bang impact went off directly above this point. I drop into one of the passageways. Hanzo follows seconds later. The halls feel wrong now, roofless, flooded with light. It doesn't feel like home anymore. When we reach the main chamber, the sight that greets us is worse than I imagined. 12 bodies lie in the center of the room. Nicholas, Evelyn, 10 logistics personnel. All of them brutally mutilated, tortured, and desecrated. One woman's clothes are torn to shreds, blood staining everything around her. She was likely decapitated after hours of torment. Who did this? Hanzo whispers, his voice trembling with rage. Most likely the Phantom Troop, I answer. All signs point to Phaeton's handiwork, especially the decapitation and extreme mutilation. This is insane, I mutter, a twisted smile forming on my face. Yesterday, everything was perfect. Today, everyone's dead. We're back to square one. I'm going to kill those bastards. I scream, my smile stretching, my skull beginning to vibrate from the rage. I approach Nicholas's body. Bloodied head to toe. Deep cuts on his torso spell the same phrase carved into the walls. We'll accept anything you leave here, but don't ever take anything away from us. His fingers and toes are bent back, nails torn off. Classic Phaeton. He starts with the nails, then the fingers, then the bones. But Nicholas never talked. He signed a binding contract, he couldn't reveal any family secrets even if he wanted to. That must have driven them insane. They left empty-handed. It's a small consolation. Our business remains safe. But at what cost? Nicholas's body is mangled beyond recognition. Torn skin, flayed limbs. His mouth frozen in a silent scream. Eyelids swollen black and blue. His bloodshot eyes are no longer in his skull, they've been torn out and placed on the floor. No ears. No eyes. Barely any skin. He looks like someone suffering from a grotesque congenital deformity. Evelyn. She's worse. The longest-serving member. The one who had to watch her friends die while she was tortured, waiting for her own end. The thought of what she endured twists something inside me, fury and hatred roiling together. I stand over their bodies, silent. I don't move. Minutes pass. Maybe hours. My rage is absolute. The first step of action is revenge. I will take revenge on those assholes for killing them. I will destroy them. I scream, my voice echoing through the crater. I stand there, breathing in the stillness, and think, really think, about all the ways I'll torture the troop for this transgression. Oh, so many ways. But the first will be mental. I'll kill their family. Chapter 46. Hanzo, use 10. I don't care if they sense you, just protect yourself from what I'm about to do, I say before unleashing my max radius N, infused with all my malicious intent. After retracting my aura, I tell Hanzo, wait here and contact me with a giant spike of aura if you're attacked by anyone, whether they look weak or not. After saying this, I rush toward the outskirts of the real Meteor City. While running, I create a shadow sword. I could crush them all with shadows or just scare them with aura, but I want to feel them die at my own hands for this transgression against me. I want the phantom troop to know they messed with the wrong person. About halfway to the first mini village I'm going to destroy tonight, I get an idea. I activate telekinesis with my strings and inform everyone who's on a mission to return to base no matter the circumstance. The base has been attacked, and you don't need to keep your cover anymore. On the way, I slaughter every village in my path as I head toward Meteor City. It will be my hunting ground for the night. I will kill every adult, and any child with potential I will take for my new organization that will hail from my floor in Heaven Arena. The streets of Meteor City are a wasteland, cracked and broken from years of neglect. The towering, decaying buildings sag under the weight of lawlessness and corruption. The air hangs heavy, thick with a sense of decay that permeates every corner. Dead bodies already litter the streets. I move silently through the city, my end spreading out like a suffocating fog. The broken, desperate inhabitants, scavengers in the truest sense, move about in their usual manner, searching for food and any valuables they can find. They don't feel the weight of death descending on them. Yet. My hands grip the shadow sword, its blackened blade alive with my aura. If I want to kill everyone before sunrise, I'm going to need some help, so I summon my maximum of 9 shadow phantoms, each with their own shadow blade. They stretch as far as they can, each taking up a position around the 100-meter radius surrounding me. They know their task, slaughter anything alive in their respective areas while I massacre everybody else. I step out into the street, my footsteps echoing in the dead silence, and the first of the city's inhabitants crosses my path. An old man, hunched and grizzled, drags a cart piled high with broken goods. He looks up just in time to see me, his eyes narrowing in caution. His hands move instinctively toward a knife hidden in his coat, but he's too slow. My sword flashes through the air. The blade connects with his neck in a clean arc, and his body collapses to the ground, his blood staining the dirt beneath him red. The cart tips over, spilling its contents in the street, but no one is left to notice. No one is left to care. I move on, picking up my pace. A small group of men in the distance spot me and make a run for it. They think they're fast. They think they're capable. But I am faster. I explode forward, my shadow sword cutting through the air with lethal precision. The first man never even turns around before I slice through him, his body cleaved in two. The second attempts to draw a weapon, a rusty old pistol, but it's no use. I move too quickly, too powerfully. The bullet flies wide as my sword tears through his chest, reducing him to a bleeding corpse. The third tries to run but stumbles as my shadow lashes out, pulling his feet from under him. I watch him crash to the ground, terror in his eyes as he realizes there's no escape. I approach, and in one swift movement, I stab down into his chest. He gasps, blood spilling across the ground, staining the dirt a dark, sticky red. With each kill, the silence grows thicker. It spreads like a shadow, a smothering cloak over the city. I have only just begun, and already the streets are filled with the bodies of the fallen. I don't hesitate, don't falter. There's no one here worth sparing. Meteor City is nothing but a feeding ground for the strong to prey on the weak, and tonight, I am the hunter. I step through alleyways and street corners, my shadow sword cutting through flesh with brutal efficiency. Men, women, the old, the young, none are spared. All of them are swept aside, discarded like garbage. I am unstoppable, my presence a suffocating force that crushes everything in its path. And then, as I pass into a more populated area, something shifts. I feel it, faint but undeniable. I pause, stretching my N out completely, and I find them. Children. They are hidden, scattered throughout the area. To leave an even deeper scar, the troop will never find a child I have killed here. These kids will serve me, or they will die. I reach out with my N, sensing the tremor of their untapped but undoubtedly strong aura. Most are scared, hiding from the chaos consuming the city, but some older ones are braver, more confident in their own power. I slip deeper into the shadows, avoiding the gaze of the others who still stumble through the wreckage. Their cries, their pleas. I will find the gifted ones, those with potential, and either recruit or eliminate them. Another man charges at me, a brutal snarl on his face as he swings a heavy pipe toward my skull. But his anger is a mistake. He's too slow, too predictable. I sidestep with the grace of a predator, my shadow sword following through with deadly precision. The pipe clangs uselessly against the wall, and before he can even turn his head in confusion, my blade pierces his side, slicing through his ribcage with a sickening crunch. He gasps, his breath ragged as he tries to hold the wound, but the blood pours too fast. His knees buckle, and he crashes to the ground, choking on his own lifeblood. The city is alive with terror, the echoes of my massacre reverberating off the crumbling buildings. These streets are my playground now, and I am the one who calls the shots. Another group emerges from the shadows, a mix of men and women with desperate eyes and trembling hands. They must have heard the commotion and felt the fear rippling through the air. But it's too late for them to think they have a chance. I step forward, my sword outstretched. The first man tries to strike, swinging a jagged piece of metal at me, but I don't even need to dodge. I punch him faster than he can react, his face contorting in panic as he's flung into the nearest wall. There's a sickening thud, and his body crumples, motionless. Before the rest can react, I'm on them. One woman raises a knife, her hands shaking uncontrollably. I grab her wrist, twisting it until I hear the bones snap. Her scream cuts through the air as I force her to her knees. With a swift, merciless strike, my sword slices through her throat, blood spraying out in a vicious arc. The others hesitate for a moment, fear rising in their chests like a tidal wave, but it's too late. The panic overtakes them, and they scatter in every direction. The men try to draw their weapons, but they don't come close to succeeding as I swing my sword in an arc, taking off 3 heads at once. 2 of them are lucky and run at the right time. One attempts to flee, but I'm faster. I sprint after him, appearing right in front of him before he can take another step, my shadow sword held high. He looks over his shoulder just as I appear, his terror palpable in the air, unable to see his pursuer anymore. He stumbles over his own feet, and in that moment of vulnerability, I drive my blade into his chest, twisting it as it pierces his heart. He goes limp, his body falling like a puppet whose strings have been cut. The last man stands frozen, wide-eyed, the fear too much for him to process. He raises a makeshift spear, but it's useless. The weapon is an extension of his desperation, not his strength. His knees give out from terror, causing him to lose his balance. Before he can recover, my shadow sword is embedded in his chest, the blade singing as it rips through his body like butter. The silence that follows is deafening. The sounds of death echoing in the night have stopped, leaving only the harsh breathing of those still alive, the stench of blood, and the slow, inevitable march of decay. I stand still for a moment, my senses heightened, scanning the area to ensure there's no one left. My N ripples outward, extending far beyond the alleyway. I double-check everyone's location before using shadows to encase all the children under 13 in shadow bubbles with tiny holes for breathing. I walk toward the next area, my shadow sword still dripping with the blood of those I've slain. Nobody hears my approach. The sound of nervous whispers and shuffling feet fills the air. I'm upon them in seconds, killing 3 with brutal efficiency. The first to react is a middle-aged man, rough around the edges. His eyes lock on me in shock as he tries to raise a rusted crowbar. His hands tremble, barely able to lift it before I close the gap. I'm faster than he can react, and my sword cuts through the crowbar like paper. The halved weapon falls as blood pours from his stomach. He collapses without a sound, gasping as life slips away. The others scramble in terror, but they're too slow. I chase them with methodical precision. A woman tries to run, but I extend my shadow, dragging her back by the ankle and crashing her into a wall. Her skull cracks open like an egg, no scream. The last 2 flee. One hides behind a pile of scrap, but I sense his energy shift. His fear is a beacon. I'm already there, cutting him down. The final man turns a corner, but it's futile. This city is mine. Every shadow, every street. I move swiftly, my nen pulsing outward. The last man is caught in my grip. His body jerks as I crush the air from his lungs. His chest collapses, and with a flick of my wrist, he's gone, his body crumpling like a rag doll. The street is littered with corpses, the echoes of my wrath reverberating through the ruins. I move on, deeper into the labyrinth of decay, blade ready for what comes next. I am the storm of revenge, and I will not stop until there is nothing left but dust and bones. The night is young, and the hunt has only just begun. Chapter 47. By sunrise, the entire adult population of Meteor City, 8.3 million people, is dead. As I walk back through the city, the giant shadow spheres containing all the children follow me toward the location where Hanzo has been patiently waiting, and where the rest of my surviving personnel are supposed to gather. Walking would take too long, and there are still things I need to do, people I need to kill, so I start running at a decent speed to return to my former base. Within a few minutes, I arrive and proceed to release the children from the spheres so they can get some fresh air. "You're back," Hanzo says in a monotone voice. "So, what did you do all night? And who are the kids?" he asks with a hint of curiosity. "Yeah, I'm back. These kids. They're all from Meteor City. The adults are dead, and I took those who are still manipulatable for, you could say testing. You've been sitting here all night, so I bet you want to stretch your legs. Mind getting a few glasses of water and some leaves?" "Sure, but with what glasses? And how many?" "Well, just enough for every kid here." After I say this, Hanzo's face turns to one of shock. "Boss, you're not serious. I don't think I could even carry that many glasses without them all falling. There has to be at least 100,000 kids here." "Oh, right. Okay, you have a point. Then we'll just have to move all together," I say. With that, I summon over 1,000 shadow tendrils to gently place the kids, one by one, into a new series of shadow spheres. Oh, and Hanzo, we need to make good time. Holding giant 13-story shadow spheres crammed with kids is very aura draining, even for me, so we'll be moving at your maximum speed. I wait for the tendrils to finish gathering the children before we begin our journey. As we travel, I mentally transmit new coordinates to the remaining members of our now mostly destroyed mafia. "Okay, sorry, we're moving for personal reasons. The new meeting point is the leftmost shore of Yorbia, bordering Lake Mobius. It takes nearly 2 hours of non-stop running. When passing through cities, I have to use to mask our presence from any potential Nen users. By the end, my aura reserves are nearly depleted, but the next step is relatively easy. I go from sphere to sphere, releasing aura into them until the air is thick with it. Then I infuse a slight amount of malicious intent before unleashing it into the children's bodies to forcibly open their aura nodes. On this scale, I may have made a few mistakes. Some of the kids' bodies are irreversibly damaged, but that's fine. Only a few hundred will die from the process. I still have thousands more. Disintegrating the shadow spheres, I unleash a large scale N laced with killing intent, hoping to scare the kids into staying put. Even if they try to escape, Hanzo or I will retrieve them. "Hanzo, sit down and activate Gyo," I order. "Tell me when you see one of them activate Ten or Zetsu naturally. Once they do, we'll separate them into groups, fastest, and middle speed. If it takes them more than an hour, or if they exhaust all their aura, we'll kill them without mercy. Understand? Also, catch any who try to escape." With that order given, I take off at high speed to gather a couple hundred leaves and begin crafting hundreds of cups from glass using conjuration. Even if they're just simple glass cups, the effort trains my abilities. The first child to pass does so in just 4 minutes. The second takes 5.5. The third takes about 7. Between the third and fourth, there's a long gap, over 15 minutes, before a little girl passes at 23 minutes. In the end, 3 children pass in under 10 minutes, while most pass between 30 minutes to an hour. A total of 114 children successfully pass the test within the given time. I separate the successful ones and bring them to my table, lining them up. The first to pass is a tall boy, probably around 11 years old, standing at an impressive 5 feet 3 inches, a full 4 inches taller than most kids his age. I take his hands and place them on either side of the glass. Try to feel the aura inside you like an ocean. Channel it outward into the cup. He doesn't comply. Instead, he glares at me, defiant. In response, I release my wren with a touch of hostility to intimidate him. Still defiant. So I push further. Will you comply or die? I say coldly, doubling the hostility in my aura. After a few tense minutes, he relents, nodding and beginning to try. As I watch his will crack, the kids behind him start sweating nervously. Phew, I think. If he hadn't relented, I would have had to kill him just to keep up appearances. He's probably the most valuable one here, unrelenting will, and he unlocked Zetsu in just 4 minutes. It's like he was born for Nen. After a few seconds, the water glows. The leaf and the cup begin to dissolve. When the leaf fully disintegrates, the cup cracks, spilling the glowing liquid everywhere. I nearly jump for joy. I've found a specialist, and one with immense potential at that. Good. Good. Next. I call out. The second child steps forward, a little girl, average height, maybe a bit thin for her age. That can be fixed later. Same thing as before. Place your hands on either side of the glass and channel your aura into it. Unlike the first child, she doesn't need any extra motivation. It takes her a minute to figure it out, but once she does, the water in the cup starts to swell before overflowing. Nice, nice. You can go wait with the other kid now. Next. The day continues like this. The slower children take significantly longer, so I eventually change tactics. I start instructing them directly before moving on to save time, instead of spending an hour with each of the remaining 80 or 90 kids. Once that's done, it's time for the final step in inducting them into my new organization, contracts. This should be the easiest part, as I plan to scare them into signing. Creating the contracts is the hard part. I have to word them to sound fair but make them a trap. If I outright told them they were signing up for slavery, they wouldn't agree, and that would ruin everything. In the end, I settle on a simple strategy: tell them what they're signing up for, but not what they're signing up for. Okay. I announce, getting the attention of all the boys and girls. I'm going to explain something to you now. The ability I've helped you unlock is called Nen. From now on, you'll be stronger than any other children, but there's a catch. To reach your full potential, you'll need proper training. I can provide that, if you agree to a contract that binds you to help me a little. Here's the thing about the contract. It's created using an ability of mine called String of Fate. In simple terms, it binds your fate to mine. A string will be placed inside each of us to enforce the contract's rules. Through it, I'll be able to control your body and talk to you telepathically, even from across the world. The terms are simple: I will feed, clothe, and protect you, as long as you agree to obey me and work for me as you grow older. I'll give you almost everything you could ever need. In return, you'll serve me. If I betray you, I will be punished severely. If you betray me, you'll die instantly. If you ever want to leave, just ask, and if I approve, you'll be allowed to go with no penalty. But once you leave, you can't talk about our organization's internal matters to anyone outside of it. The kids look confused, eyes darting, faces blank. Luckily, my Hatsu doesn't require them to fully understand the contract. The only condition is that I explain the rules and what my ability does. By the end of the day, I've convinced all of them to sign. And now, we wait for the rest of our scattered family to arrive. Chapter 48. Walking back to our original spot, Hanzo has concluded the business portion of the examinations and is now entertaining the newest recruits. Meanwhile, I'm left with the grim task of literally burying what remains of our now past memories. By the end of the day, 4 of the remaining tribesmen return to camp, while 2 others die trying to escape their predicaments. That leaves hope for 17 more members to join our ever-growing group of refugees. With time on our hands and the camp growing quieter by the hour, Hanzo and I decide to begin training the new recruits in the basics of 10. I call the children to gather before me. It takes several minutes for them to assemble, their faces painted with a mix of fear and hatred. Their eyes bore into me, defiant yet silent. The atmosphere is heavy with tension. They've seen what I'm capable of, they know better than to defy me outright. Listen closely, I command, my voice slicing through the quiet like steel. I didn't bring you here to waste away. You are alive because I chose to spare you. I see something special in all of you, and I intend to hone it to the best of my capabilities as a teacher. A murmur of weak affirmations rises from the group. Some nod, others merely bow their heads, their fear outweighing their voice. Good, I continue, pacing before them. Earlier, I awakened the aura inside you. That power will keep you strong if you learn to control it. If you don't, it will drain you dry, leaving you nothing but a husk. So pay attention. A tiny white light to motivate them won't hurt. I extend my hand, summoning a steady flow of aura. The energy radiates faintly, flickering like a soft white flame. Several children recoil instinctively, shrinking back as if the glow might consume them. This, I state sharply, is 10. 10 is the most basic form of aura control. You will learn it quickly, or you'll fall behind your peers and have to catch up while they move on. Remember, these lessons will help you in life. I pause to let the words sink in. Here's how you begin. Close your eyes. Breathe deeply. Feel the energy inside you. Right now, it's leaking out slowly but steadily. Picture it pulling back into you, wrapping around your body like a second skin. Keep it close. Hold it steady. Their expressions range from confusion to fear. Some hesitate, their mistrust clear, while others grudgingly close their eyes and try to follow the instructions. The first attempts are weak. A boy near the front clenches his fists, his aura sputtering to life for just a heartbeat before fading. He glances up at me, his eyes uncertain. I meet his gaze with a warm, encouraging look. Pretty good, you catch on quick, I say in an eccentric tone, flooding the air with a warm, happy aura. The child visibly relaxes, and I scan the group for others needing guidance. I notice the other children's expression softening slightly, their fear slowly dissipating. I walk up to another boy, this one a bit smaller, and say, "Good job, but you need to focus a little more. Concentrate." My tone remains light-hearted and encouraging. The boy tries again, this time applying what I taught him. His aura stabilizes, still weak, but much more steady. I nod, a grin stretching across my face. Better. Now keep it steady. Encouraged by his success, the rest of the group begins to push themselves. One by one, they start to grasp the basics of manifesting their aura. One girl, trembling violently, fails repeatedly. Tears streak her face as she stammers, "I'm so tired. But I don't want to be left behind." Take a break, then try again. You can do this. You just need to calm down and focus, I reply, still firm, but gentle. After a brief rest, I kneel beside her and take her wrist, my grip firm but not harsh. You can do this. Feel it. Focus. Her breathing steadies. Slowly, almost painfully, her aura begins to emerge, faint, but present. Good, I say, releasing her wrist and standing up. Now try to keep it steady. By nightfall, a handful of children manage to hold 10 consistently for over 5 minutes. One boy stands out, his aura stronger and more stable than the rest. I approach him, meeting his defiant gaze. He doesn't flinch, though I can feel the fear buried beneath his tough exterior. "You did well," I acknowledge curtly. "But don't let it go to your head." His jaw tightens, but he nods. I turn to the group. "Good job, everyone. Even if you didn't hold it for the full 5 minutes, you've grasped the basics, and that's enough for today. Get some rest." Just as I'm about to dismiss them, movement in the distance catches my eye. Figures emerge from the twilight. I extend my N, confirming their identities. 4 more of my people have returned. They approach the camp with grim expressions. 2 are injured but alive. Hanzo steps forward and motions for them to settle by the bonfire. "How many of us are left out there?" one of the men asks, his voice steady but tinged with quiet sadness. 17, I reply, though my patience is thinning. "But I know them. They'll come." "This is his fault, you know," I hear one man mutter to another. "Yeah, I know. But his power is terrifying. If we hadn't joined him, who knows what he would have done to us," the other responds solemnly. The camp falls into silence, the weight of our situation evident in every slouched posture, every quiet sigh. Together, we stare into the firelight. And I begin to plan what to do about the 2 gossipers. Chapter 49. Over the past few days, nearly all of our family's personnel have either made it to our new camp or died trying. Only one person remains unaccounted for. If that last survivor doesn't show up soon, I may have to give the order to pack up and leave without him. It's already been 5 days since we arrived, and that means I'm about to miss teaching Gon and Killua about Nen. I'm more experienced and proficient with Nen and opening aura nodes using Ren than Wing is. As a responsible guardian, I should be the one to do it and make sure nothing goes wrong, even though I know they won't be harmed by anything Wing might attempt. On another note, I've already confronted the gossipers and resolved that potentially dangerous situation before it could spread and poison the rest of the group. The children have been acting obsessively about their training. Sometimes, even in the middle of the night, I sense a few of them sneaking out of camp to practice 10. I suppose my little white lie, about needing to maintain 10 constantly or die, may have spiraled a bit. But it's fine. In their eyes, it just gives them more motivation to train harder. I'll find time to tell them the truth eventually. For now, they can believe it a little longer. No harm done, unless one of them trains too hard and drains their aura completely. Just as I'm thinking this, a figure appears in the distance, small at first, but rapidly growing larger. As the dot approaches, I can make out more detail. White hair. Blue clothing. It looks like a formal kimono. Oh my god. It's Gramps. And he's wearing a very serious expression. I head out to meet him, greeting him with a big smile. But before I can even finish saying welcome, he cuts me off in a dark, ominous tone. "Save it. Are you the one who pissed off the Phantom Troop by slaughtering all of Meteor City?" "Well, yes, US. You actually did that. It's gotten so big that even with all of my effort, I can't cover this crap up. Why the hell would you do something like that?" Before I can respond, he puts his hands together in a prayer position. He moves so fast, it looks like slow motion. The last thing I see before I go flying nearly a mile is a massive golden Buddha palm slamming toward my torso. Luckily, I saw the motion in time, otherwise, I would have been squashed like a bug. Even with Ken and enhanced shadows protecting me, I still took a few scrapes. The power of that Hatsu is on a different level. Well, I could beat him with infinite domain, but then I'd probably die from some dumb accident out here, like suffocating in the snow. Not exactly how I want to go out again. When I get back to camp, it seems Gramps has vented most of his anger by launching me across the landscape. Still, The serious expression hasn't left his face. So, Gramps. I guess you heard about that, huh? Damn right, I heard. Half the Zodiacs are furious that I'm not letting them help the survivors, even though I told them there aren't any. Why is it that big of a deal? I thought only high-level officials and the Mafia knew about Meteor City. Periston accidentally leaked to the public that people used to live there. I managed to patch up his mistake, but not before the V5 got wind of it. Now they're on my ass. Politicians are calling for rescue missions, though really, they're looking to recruit anyone who survived. And the Phantom Troop is still there, killing anyone who steps foot inside. His expression darkens further. So why the hell did you slaughter 8 million people? The Phantom Troop attacked my base. They tortured everyone. All the women, and Nicholas. They're dead. Now only 14 of our original 40+ members remain. One is still unaccounted for. He sighs and rubs his temples in a motion reminiscent of a very tired Hokage. Okay, next question, why the heck are there a bunch of children at your camp? And why are they all using Nen? I feel his end spread as he scans the area. Don't worry about it, Gramps, I reply calmly. The heck do you mean, don't worry about it? Who are they? Why are they here? What are you doing with them? After a few minutes of tense silence and hard stares, I finally give in. I tell him the truth. You already know I wiped out all the adults in Meteor City. These are the most talented children that were left behind. I took around 800,000 of them, and these here are the gifted ones. I plan to raise them into my personal army for future plans. They all know Nen because I may have, opened all their aura nodes. And anyone who couldn't naturally grasp Zetsu within an hour. Well, Hanzo handled it. As I finish explaining, another figure appears in the distance, this one smaller and moving much slower than Gramps did. Everyone, gather your belongings, we're moving out in a few minutes. I shout, drawing attention from the entire camp. Hanzo and I walk up to greet the final missing member of our family. Welcome. I hope your journey went well, Ahanu, I say. Be ready, we're heading out shortly. You were the last one we were waiting for. Once everyone is packed and ready, I mold a transport platform from shadows. It has 133 seats, 114 for children and 19 for adults, or at least the older ones like myself. The platform is disc-shaped and hovers above the ground, powered by wind pulses from a propulsion system built into its edges. When I insert my aura, the machine draws in air through thousands of tiny holes, then releases it in quick bursts in the direction I choose. As a final touch, I add a Hunter Association logo to the side of the disc, just in case we're stopped on our way. Everyone climbs aboard, and a shadow dome forms above our heads, encasing us in total darkness as we depart. Chapter 50. It takes almost half a day, but my flying saucer finally lands beside the Heavens Arena, giving us enough time to get everything done and still have a bit of a buffer before the situation with Gon and Killua. I might even include Zushi in my own training. If he's going to become a floor master, I want a decent challenge in the next Battle Olympia. While landing, or flying into the city, I made no effort to conceal my ship or the massive amounts of aura I was using to power it. It would have looked even more suspicious for me to show up in an elevator with 19 men and 114 children. We make our way toward the elevator, the hum of the city fading behind us as we step into the sleek, metallic shaft that will carry us up to floor 231, a few at a time. I glance back at the children, who look a mix of excited and nervous. They're here for a reason, to train, to grow, and to learn. And I'm going to make sure they do. I step into the elevator first and press the button for the 231st floor. As the elevator begins its slow ascent, I take a moment to center myself. When the doors open, I step out onto the familiar, polished floors of my personal penthouse. The air hits me, hot, dry, and stifling, just as I left it. The heaters are still running, a necessary evil to keep the arena at prime training temperature. But right now, I don't need them. I extend the finger toward the temperature controls and press the off button. With a soft click, the heaters shut off. The temperature immediately begins to drop, the air cooling into something more breathable. As the children arrive in groups of 3, accompanied by an adult each time, they're clearly tense, but I can also see eagerness in their eyes. Within a few minutes, all the children have made it out of the elevator and are now approaching me, taking in the size and emptiness of the space. "All right," I say, turning to face them. "This is your home for the foreseeable future. You'll each have your own room here, and I expect you to get settled in. There's a training schedule posted on the wall near the hallway. I want everyone ready for it by tomorrow." The kids nod, visibly eager to explore. I don't blame them. This place might seem imposing, but it's full of potential. I motion for them to follow me. "Let's get you to your rooms first. They're not fancy, but you'll be comfortable. You'll need rest if you want to train properly." We walk down the long hallway, our footsteps echoing on the floor. As we approach the rooms, I point to the doors. Each room is labeled with a number, no excuses for confusion. "Keep your spaces clean. I won't tolerate mess." One by one, the children enter their rooms, some hesitant, others brimming with curiosity. I stay nearby, checking that they're settling in and offering quiet encouragement where needed. I walk up to Hanzo and say, "Hey, can you watch over the kids for a bit? I'm going to request some food to be delivered." Hanzo nods and replies, "Sure, boss. But can we get Japonian or Kokonyu style barbecue?" I nod and walk over to where the announcer speaker is. On the lower floors, these speakers are only loud enough for those near the arena to hear, but near the top, they're adjusted so the entire floor can listen to the excitement. I press the mic button and say, "Everyone, meet in the arena in 2 hours flat. Don't be late. There will be plenty of food, so come hungry. Until then, do whatever you want, just don't mess up my floor." With that, I leave the booth and begin the long elevator ride down into the city to find a restaurant large enough to fulfill my order in time. I haven't been out like this in a while, so it takes some searching, but eventually, I come across the place I'm looking for, Yakiniku. The sign outside reads the same, and the scent already has me remembering how good it was the last time. Yakiniku is one of the world's top-rated barbecue restaurants, known for its incredible variety and enormous portion sizes. All the food is hunted and prepared by 2 of the most renowned professional gourmet hunters, the Yakamiki brothers. Despite the quality, the prices are surprisingly reasonable, right in the sweet spot between cheap and expensive. Walking in, I'm greeted by one of the brothers, who says in a kind voice, "Good afternoon, sir. What can I do for you today?" "I need enough food to feed 250 starving people in 2 hours. Think you can manage that?" I ask with a hint of challenge in my tone. "Of course, sir. What kind of food, and how should it be cooked?" "Smoked, roasted, you name it, I want it. Can we get a variety?" "Certainly. What varieties would you like? And is this for pickup or delivery?" "Delivery. I'd like at least Japonian and Kokonyu style barbecue. If possible, add a bit of Okiman jerk seasoning as well." He nods. "Got it. Where should we deliver this?" "The 231st floor of Heaven's Arena." He does a double take, scribbling the address before glancing up with surprise. "Wait. The 231st floor? That's the domain of a floor master. Are you sure that's the delivery location?" "Indeed. And I am that floor master. Just because I use it in public doesn't mean I lack aura." He looks even more surprised now, maybe even impressed. "All right, whatever you say. That'll come to 1,184,055 jenny, including tax and delivery." I pull out a wad of cash and hand him about 1.2 million jenny. As he reaches for the register, I stop him. Keep the change. And who knows, if this goes well, I might make this a weekly order. Or more. Leaving the restaurant, I continue my day in a good mood. Still, I'll need to find a way to make more money soon if I'm going to keep placing orders like that every day. While I walk, I relax and start brainstorming how to make a fortune fast. Chapter 51. 2 hours pass quickly, and before I know it, I'm back on the 231st floor, standing in the giant hallway. The kids are all settled in, and their excitement has only grown since they arrived. The anticipation for training has been tempered by the promise of the food on the way. I can already hear their whispers, feel the quiet energy building as they wait. Hanzo, ever the reliable right-hand man, is sitting in the lounge area, watching the children as they chat among themselves. He raises an eyebrow when he sees me enter, an amused smirk spreading across his face. "You made it," Hanzo says, standing up. "And I see you didn't take your time." I chuckle. I was confident they could handle the challenge. But it's a good thing I ordered delivery, otherwise, I'd still be waiting. "Yeah, Yakiniku-Q is pretty legendary. You didn't go easy on them, huh?" I shake my head. Not at all. If they're going to be training hard, they need to eat well. Let's see if they can keep up. I walk over to the speaker booth, where I'd already arranged for the delivery to arrive directly at the arena floor. The anticipation in the room is palpable as the kids, still adjusting to their new environment, glance curiously at me. Their eyes widen when I turn back to address them. "You guys ready for some real food?" I ask, my tone light but tinged with excitement. "If you've got an appetite, now's your chance to put it to the test." At my words, their eyes light up. They've heard rumors about the food. The scent, rich, smoky, mouth-watering, wafts in as the elevator doors open. A delivery man enters, pushing large metal carts stacked with platters of grilled meats, vegetables, sauces, and more. The sheer quantity is enough to make anyone's stomach growl. I watch their expressions shift. The nervousness, the tension, it all melts away in the face of that aroma. Hanzo steps forward to help the delivery man, guiding him to set everything up quickly and efficiently. "Come on, eat up. You've earned it," I say with a smirk. "But remember, this is just the beginning. Get used to eating like this, because if you want to get stronger, you'll need the fuel." The kids approach the tables hesitantly at first. There's a brief moment of awkwardness, unsure how much to take, where to begin, but that fades fast. They dive in, grabbing plates, loading them with meat and vegetables, eyes gleaming. I step back and observe. The younger ones glance toward Hanzo and me for approval before taking their next portions. The older kids are more aggressive, tearing into the food like they haven't eaten in days. I sit down at the far end of the long table, keeping my posture relaxed as I take a bite. The food is perfect, juicy, tender, smoky, and seasoned just right. The balance of sweet, savory, and spicy flavors is exquisite. I close my eyes, savoring it before going in for another bite. This is the kind of meal that makes everything worthwhile. As I eat, I watch the kids' reactions. Some are savoring each bite, others are wolfing down their food. Slowly, I begin to notice another change. The tension in their posture is fading. The nourishment is working, not just physically but emotionally. I turn to Hanzo. He's watching the kids too, nodding subtly. "They're looking better already," he mutters. "You can see it in how they sit. A good meal does wonders for morale." I nod, watching as one older boy, a lanky kid with sharp eyes, goes for seconds and glances around at the others, newfound confidence in his gaze. A quiet girl who had stayed silent earlier is now chatting with a few kids nearby, her face flushed with warmth and energy. "Looks like they're starting to trust you more," Hanzo says, his voice quiet. "It's a start. But this is just a meal. They're not fully in yet." I study the room. Most of the kids have finished eating and are chatting amongst themselves. There's a new air of camaraderie forming, a spark of trust. They're beginning to understand what this place is about, not just the training, but the purpose behind it. They're getting there, I say. It'll take more than food to build real trust. But this is a good step. It's not just about feeding them, it's about showing them I'm not some stranger barking orders. I'm here to help them grow. I'll push them, sure, but I'll also make sure they're cared for. That earns respect. Hanzo nods. You've got the right idea. If they feel you're on their side, they'll follow you. Keep feeding them like this, and you'll win them over. Yeah, I mutter, glancing at the empty plates and satisfied faces. Next time, I might need to order more. They eat like they haven't seen food in weeks. And honestly, living in Meteor City, I wouldn't be surprised if that's true. Laughter echoes through the room, and for a moment, everything feels right. The fear and doubt in the children's eyes are fading. They look healthier already, many had clearly been starving before they arrived. In just this short time, I can see the change. Their energy is coming back. I take another bite, letting the warmth and peace of the moment settle around me. All right, I say, leaning back as I finish my meal. We've got a big day tomorrow. Get to bed early, and be ready to train at full strength. I expect nothing less than your best. Understood? The kids look up at me, exhausted but excited. And in their eyes, something new. Respect. Yes, boss, they say in unison. I give them a small, approving smile. Good. I'll see you bright and early. As they begin to clean up and head off to bed, I feel a quiet satisfaction. This is just the beginning, but it's progress. Step by step, I'm earning their trust. And that's worth more than even the best meal. Hanzo, not you, we're training right now. I've let your progress slide the last few days. It's time to get back on track. You're going to be a top-tier fighter. Chapter 52. The night is cold, and the air feels freezing with the heaters turned off. Hanzo stands across from me, posture steady, eyes locked on mine, ready for the final stage, Ryu. After mastering Shu, Ken, and Ko over the past few weeks, he has the fundamentals down. But I've put off his training for the past few days. Now, we'll see if he can balance offense and defense with the same precision he's already shown. Ryu, I begin, watching his every movement as he adjusts his stance, is the next step. It combines Gyo with the state of Ken, but it's more dynamic. While Ken focuses on evenly distributing aura for defense, and Ko concentrates it all into one point for offense, Ryu allows you to redistribute your aura in real time, shifting between offense and defense based on the situation. Hanzo's eyes narrow, fully focused, taking in every word. Think of it this way, I continue, pacing slowly in front of him. With Ryu, you're constantly adjusting your aura. You might concentrate more energy into your fist for a powerful punch, while still maintaining enough on your torso to protect it. For example, 70% into your fist for a strike, 30% left for defense. Or 80% into your leg to block an incoming kick while leaving the rest of your body less protected. The key is flexibility, adapting aura distribution to your needs, instead of keeping it static like with Ko or Ken. I pause, letting the weight of the concept settle between us. But here's the real challenge. Ryu isn't just about your aura. It's also about reading your opponents. You have to estimate how they're flowing their aura, how much they're using, and adjust accordingly. If your timing's off, you risk. Hey, boss. None of us can get into our rooms. The doors are locked, a small girl interrupts, stepping into the room. Without hesitation, I take off, quickly unlocking every bedroom door, except for mine and Hanzo's. Within seconds, I return. Don't worry, it's handled. You can all get into your rooms now. Just don't close the doors behind you, or you might get stuck again. The girl looks at me, eyes wide. I can't blame her. If I were a small, almost normal kid living in a penthouse and watched someone flicker in and out of sight and say it was done, I'd be stunned, too. Once she leaves, I turn back to Hanzo and pick up where I left off. Okay, so, timing. If you're off, you'll have the wrong amount of aura in the wrong place. Say your opponent fakes a right hook and you put 80% of your aura in your arm to block, but it's actually a setup for a left hook to your body, where you only left 20%. Hanzo nods. So it's about being fluid. Reacting. Adapting in the moment. Exactly, I say firmly. Now, let's get started. We begin with the basics. Hanzo stands still, channeling his nen into a steady flow. The air thickens as his aura begins to condense around him. Start by balancing your aura like with Ken, I instruct. But now, shift your focus. Push more aura into one spot, leave the rest lighter. It might help at first to call out your percentage and the body part. Obviously not something you'd do in a fight, but we'll work up to silent adjustments. Hanzo inhales deeply, concentrating. 40%, right fist. 60%, body. His nen pulses outward, intensifying as he focuses energy into his right fist. Good, I say, stepping in. Now, push that even more. Focus harder on your fist, and once it's stable, move the rest into your legs. He nods, calling out, 70%, right fist. 30%, legs. Slowly, the aura shifts. It's subtle but there, his energy moves into his legs with a natural flow. Better, I say. You're starting to feel it. But remember, Ryu isn't static. It's all about real-time adjustment. No stiffness. Try this, 45% in your fist, 55% in your legs. Feel the difference. He follows through, and I feel the energy pulse from his body, shifting fluidly between fist and legs. It's not perfect, but the rhythm is there. In a fight, you want to shift right before impact. If I attack with 70% in my left fist, you'll sense it and block or dodge. But if I wait to transfer 70% until just before the hit, you won't have time to react. That unpredictability gives you the edge. Hanzo's aura flares again, sharper this time. He transfers it quickly and efficiently between limbs, beginning to grasp the fluidity I'm talking about. As the night wears on, his control improves. By morning, the sluggishness in his aura transitions is gone. The flow is smoother, faster, more precise. Good, I praise. But keep in mind, timing is everything. If you're too slow, or your shifts are too obvious, you'll get punished. He refines his movements further, his aura humming with power now. The control is there. The instincts are building. Alright, let's spar, slowly. I want you to gauge how much aura I'm putting into my fist and decide how much you need to block it. We'll ramp up the speed over the next week. But that's it for now. I turn to head out. We'll only be sparring or training at night from now on. Go get some rest. I've got to find someone to hire for cooking today. Chapter 53. Hanzo's training is done for the night, but there's still much to do. I can't keep juggling the duties of cooking, cleaning, and training all at once. I need someone who can take over the responsibility of preparing meals while maintaining the level of discipline required for our living conditions, especially once real training begins. The penthouse is starting to feel too chaotic with so many moving parts, and I can't afford distractions with the stakes this high. I head out into the city, searching for someone who fits the profile, a cook with a strong enough body to keep up with physical demands, someone who can handle the stress of feeding a lot of hungry kids, and someone who can stay organized and composed no matter what goes wrong. After visiting a few restaurants, I stumble across a promising candidate, a middle-aged man named Taro working in a small but reputable diner. His arms are thick with muscle, his posture calm and confident. He's clearly not a fighter, but his build suggests he's more than capable of handling physically intensive work. He moves with the precision and swiftness of someone used to labor. I watch him chop vegetables with speed and accuracy, never pausing, his movements fluid and sharp, easily among the most skilled I've seen in the kitchen. After a brief conversation, Taro agrees to sit for an interview during his break. He listens carefully, asks good questions, and gives off a calm, competent air. I get the feeling he'll mesh well with the focused, no-nonsense atmosphere I'm trying to cultivate. A few minutes later, he walks over to my table during his break and sits down. "Why do you want to hire me to cook in your personal penthouse?" he asks. "Why me? I'm sure someone like you could find better cooks willing to work for an obviously rich man." I nod. "I chose you because the job isn't exactly a normal kitchen gig. For starters, everything in that penthouse weighs at least 100 kilograms. His eyes widen in cartoonish shock. "How the hell am I supposed to cook if I can't even lift anything in the kitchen?" "That's simple," I say with a grin. "You get stronger. Also, the gravity can be increased to 5 times normal, and when we're doing serious training, the air temperature is kept around 150 degrees. "What? How am I supposed to cook in that kind of heat? And why would you even need that temperature for training?" "Don't worry. You'll get used to it. Now, for the pay, for the inconvenience of living in those conditions, training, signing a contract, cooking, and training with us, you'll earn 47 million jenny a year." His eyes widen again, even more than before. 47 million jenny? Are you insane? That's not just generous, that's ridiculous. I'll take the offer. When do I start? By now, the entire diner has gone quiet. Most of the patrons are either staring at Taro's exaggerated reactions or whispering about someone shouting about being paid millions. "You can start today," I reply. "Grab your things. We'll go over the details once you move in." With a cook secured, next up is groceries. It's time to go shopping. It might take every store in the city to get enough food, but I start at the meal market across the street. The place looks small from the outside, but it's surprisingly massive inside. They've got a lot of healthy options, but thanks to my own martial arts training, I already know what to look for to support strength, recovery, and endurance. I grab a few carts and head to the dairy section. I load one cart with egg cartons, 165 in total. I'll still need more, but I can pick those up at another store. I fill a second cart with all the cheese they have and head to checkout. The cashier stares in stunned silence as she rings everything up. While she's distracted, I sneak into the restroom and create 3 massive Dyneema bags, strong enough to carry the load. I pay, then rush back to the arena, careful not to damage the eggs. As fragile as they are, losing them to carelessness would be a waste. After unloading everything by the elevator, I return to the store and move on to the produce and pantry aisles. I grab bananas, apples, nuts, flax seeds, mixed berries, avocados, carrots, broccoli, sweet potatoes, asparagus, and oranges. Thankfully, I don't need as much of these items, and it only takes 3 carts to gather everything. I skip the baking aisle and head straight to the frozen meat section. I focus on chicken, tuna, and steak, essential for protein intake, but the sheer volume I need nearly overwhelms the store's supply. I fill 5 carts and still don't have enough for the week. Over the next several trips, I collect peanut butter, quinoa, vegetables, dark chocolate, brown rice, and oatmeal. I'm still missing a few things, like some meats, supplements, and pre-workout, but I've made serious progress. By noon, I've visited only 3 stores and still managed to gather everything I need for the week, at a cost of just over 2.5 million jenny. And that's a wrap, hunters. Another amazing HunterxHunter fanfic done. This is dropped, so yay. Shout out to the author. Love. Check them out. If you're new, or like the audiobooks, Like and sub to become a hunter. Officially. It helps a lot. Also check community tab. Actually post stuff. Not just endless sub begging like some bots, embarrassed smiley face emoji, except Fanfic Audiobook W8F. He's not included after applying to the cult for a bot check. Everyone else still counts. That's pretty much it. Peace. And love y'all. Headphone emoji, red heart emoji.